keys to legends, big or small. Chris and Jeff have the power to change them all. Blabbin Bout Slabbin, every Thursday's the spot. Blabbin Bout Slabbin, SSP cards that we've got.
All right. How'd you like that song, Chris?
I tell you, I mean, it sounds incredible. Legitimately, that sounds like something I would listen to in the 90s. And again today, because my musical taste has not changed, Jeff.
Nor does mine. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night Blabbin Bout Slabbin. This is two nights in a row, Chris.
It's been a busy week, Jeff. I just want to make sure everyone was able to hear that, because I can't tell if that's like the greatest thing or the most ridiculous thing or easily both of those things. I don't even know.
Yeah. Let us know. We're still, you know, if you've been watching a while, you know, we're a little technologically unprepared for things. So hopefully you guys heard a little music.
Yes, we had an Instagram buddy, or was it an Instagram buddy, right, Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah, messaged us and asked if we would have interest in a theme song for the show. And of course we do.
Yeah.
I mean, all my messages to Michelle Branch, Jeff, have gone unreturned.
Right. So what about some 90s punk? Yeah.
Damn right.
CJ said that was loud. All right. Well, I'm glad you heard it. Yeah, thanks everybody. For those of you who have made it 2 nights in a row, we had a surprise PSA reveal last night that had some highs and lows, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
It was I guess that's the best way to describe it. Highs and lows.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's always like that. I think we've had 2 subs in our entire collecting career where we went through the whole thing and we're like, oh my God. Like, we didn't get nothing came back that was upsetting or disappointing, or we felt screwed. So last night was sort of a return to norm. We've been riding a bit of a hot streak.
Yeah.
And we also vocalized it. So maybe that was a mistake. I shouldn't have said anything. I felt so confident about that first card only to have it show up as a 7. So, you know.
Yeah, that's got off to a rough start, but some good ones. I think we're going to talk about them tonight, Chris. If you've got them, okay.
Yeah, always down to talk about it. But yeah, this is the first one we revealed. I wanted to do this one first because I was probably the card I was most confident with Gem. And as you can see, it very clearly didn't. I was just like, oh boy, reaching for the bottle right from the get-go.
Yeah, I think if we had thinking back, if we had to put odds on that card getting a 7, what do you think, Chris?
I don't even know. Extremely low.
What percent chance did you think that had of getting a 7? I would have said maybe a 1%.
Yeah, maybe 1%. Like, yeah, in my notes, I said, like, should Gem. Like, and I only put that on, like, 2 other cards. So I felt really good about it. Ben, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for joining us again. Professor's Dugout. Yes, Michelle Branch was indeed all you wanted.
SFO Sox fan, you missed some good cards. So hopefully we'll go over them a little bit and you can see, and Ben wants to take that 7.
I know. Yeah, you have I think Ben has all the other 2 atomics to 10. So I'm sure we could probably work something out. It does look really nice next to the clear 7 though. So hold on, I just posted this. Do I have that one in here?
Professor, we did not get graders notes. You don't get any graders notes unless you submit at the express level, which I believe is about $150 now. So it's kind of price prohibitive for most of the things that we're sending in.
Yeah, a lot of PC cards in this up. So I do have like these 2 from 2014 are both like, they're both numbered out of 10. So like they're the 2 Freddie flagships, the clear and the atomic, and they both have matching 7. So the OCD in me is very happy when I look at those 2 cards.
Yeah, it's a pair of 7s. Lucky 7s. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
One card that we were happy with, the grade on, is this little beauty here.
Oh, yeah. Yes, and it's cool that Oh, excuse me. I think I believe Benor 14. If you're ever check out his Instagram, he has the other one. There's two of those, like sort of that we're aware of in the wild.
Yeah.
So whatever that print run is, people should have held that card at the time. In 2012, Justin Upton was a big name. So I imagine that card was pulled out, put in binder pages, put in a top loader.
Just don't see a lot of them getting graded though.
Yeah. But yeah, SFO Sox fan, I thought when I saw that 7, I figured I was going to pass out about 90 minutes later and just be on the floor of Jeff's office for about 16 hours. But thankfully, it didn't happen.
No, it looked up considerably after that.
Yes.
Still some disappointments, sadly, but
a little bit. Doc's cards, Abel in Vegas. How's it going? Yeah. Ooh, matching.
Before we get too far along, the news came along the baseball wire today that Christian Yelich is undergoing season-ending surgery and will miss the rest of the season and the playoffs. It's just very disappointing, and it's finally like Yelich kind of reinvented himself. He changed his swing a little bit this year, looked great, leading the league in hitting for a while. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence, but I just got this auto from Topps. Just arrived in the mail this week. So right on cue, he's done for the rest of the year.
Because it's you, Jeff, it's a coincidence. But we both know that had I picked up that card, there would be no doubt as to what happened.
Yeah.
But that's really too bad. It's amazing the Brewers are doing what they're doing without him.
Yes, an SFO Sox fan makes a good point. I was wearing my Yelich hat last night. I was kind of thinking maybe I can bring some luck to get him back, but then the news today shows that probably.
What was the yeah, Shelly the Turtle. I might have passed it along. There's a horror movie about that, isn't there? Sure, there's at least one.
Yeah, The Curse. We can make a new movie about it. The baseball card curse.
Yeah, like the Grudge, or I guess that's a house. There's one called like It Follows, I think.
Yeah,
you're the horror movie guy, Jeff. That's your genre. There's got to be something like a curse.
Is pretty creepy, I gotta say. Yeah, that's great. Chris, to my knowledge, hasn't started Yelich PC, although that might be what really happened here. And you're right, Belair. For those who didn't see my Instagram, I got this Yelich auto as a replacement for an Andrew Benintendi auto redemption that's been stuck at Topps for about 4 years. I finally called them because I'd asked for a replacement years ago, and they got me the Yelich one. So you're right, it is better.
Yes, Shelly the Turtle. I don't have him in fantasy either. And Los Bravos. No, I did not buy any Jorge Soler. And I did think when that trade happened that one of those 2022 Ultra SPs might show up with him holding the World Series trophy, or maybe he has the MVP trophy. I forget which one. I do still kind of want that one, but that trade still bugs me. I cannot believe the amount of money Anthopoulos agreed to pay Jorge Soler through the next like 2 seasons after this one. I don't get it. I don't get it, but he's much smarter than me. So I'm sure it's going to work out.
We had a grading question. Drew has it. I can't remember if it was SFO Sox, was also asking about X-Fractors and if PSA docks you for lines on X-Fractors, the intersecting lines, or where it looks like sometimes the line's too thick. It depends. Like everything with PSA, it depends on your grader. I've had some cards that's the only issue with them, so they've gotten dinged for it, but sometimes it gets through. So
yeah. I mean, there's an outside chance that the lines he's talking about, Jeff, is there a chance that's just part of the design that he's looking at, or are we talking about like a print line?
But a lot of times I think what they're talking about is if the line on the X-Fractor is thicker than normal or something. Is that Drew? Is that what you're talking about, where the X-Fractor, because they do have lines across there, but
do you remember? You might not remember this, Jeff, but when I was first sort of like enamored with X-Fractors, I didn't want to grade any of them because it made sense to me that the sort of the checkerboard background, I thought it had to line up with the edge of the card exactly.
That's
so
right.
When it didn't, I was like, oh my God, like this is just going to get slaughtered. And I think you were like, settle down.
No,
settle down.
They can't do that.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. That some graders do. So
yeah,
it's part of the game. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the type of thing they should be consistent on, but unfortunately, they are not. Yeah, Carlisle Road mentioned that he's still looking for that Freddie Freeman catching the last out of the World Series Ultra SP. We're approaching, I believe, approximately 2 years since I've seen one of those in the wild. It's one of those cards like we talk about, Jeff, when super rare stuff comes in a new product. Like, do you snatch it up right away, or do you wait for the prices to go down? And sometimes, like, it's a gamble. As
It's
the
a gamble,
hobby is becoming,
especially when you don't know the print run. We just talked about that with the Fun Face card. When that came out, we didn't know. Are there going to be 20 copies of that? Well, it turns out there are hundreds of copies. So you just don't know.
It's hard to know what to do. I will say with a card like that, and if anything similar is out now, like owning it will make you happy if you want it. So even if you end up overpaying for it, you just probably still be very happy to own it. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yep, it does.
Just don't pay like $2,000 for, for it. But speaking of cards, I want to talk about this right off the bat before we there's some Instagram shout outs I really want to get to as well.
Okay.
But, Topps Chrome is still very much, in the headlines. People are affording to rip this product, Jeff, which amazes me.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people on Instagram posting pictures at Target of the blaster boxes for $45. I'm walking right past those every single time. That just seems nuts.
It seems like a losing proposition. Although, as a losing proposition, it's better than $200 for a hobby box. So,
right, and that might also be a better buy than going to see Borderlands or something at the movies as well. If you're really trying to choose how to spend your evening,
it's a good point. Yeah,
but okay. So Topps Chrome has rookie SSPs in it. Or it's got 10 super short prints. The assumed print run is about 100. Okay. And that's just based on previous math from previous years. So Jackson Chourio has one. And it's an image that Jeff and I have said has grown on us. So Jeff, my question for you is the last sale of this card we looked at a couple days ago was $350. The very last sale now with bids is $455, Jeff.
I saw that. And did you see another one went for $500?
I did not.
Yes, it wasn't on bids, but I was looking at this exact card today because there's one up there and I think it's for $750 or best offer. And I actually threw him an offer at this price, auto declined. I bumped it up. I can't remember. So it was something close to 500, another auto decline. So the market is definitely around $500, which is substantially more than it was.
Yep.
But I think part of it is because he's been playing so well. He's been an absolute monster. So
he's been playing great. And if this is going to be who he is, then that's awesome for the Brewers. It's great news for you. And you're going to want a piece of him, Jeff.
Right. Yeah. But the hard part is so when this came out, he was doing all right, but a little mediocre. So had he been continuing to play at that pace, the price would have likely went down. So I'm wondering if I would be better off waiting until the offseason dip, November-ish, something like that. Or does he continue playing like this, lead the Brewers to the playoffs, go on a crazy run, be like an Evan Carter style Rangers run, and the price doesn't come down?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Jeff, if he has an Evan Carter style second for first full season of the majors, then you're fine. You're gonna be able to pick these up real cheap.
Yeah,
any of those things are possible. But the unfortunate part is, Jeff, the better he plays, the more you want it, the more other people are going to want it, the higher the price gets.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's a cool looking card.
The guy with it on there is not looking to sell at the market price. So
no, of course not. Once you see the price start to rise, sellers are going to want a little bit more and a little bit more. So, definitely getting. I think the consensus in the chat is you should wait.
Yeah, I think so. I just got a little carried away throwing an offer in, but once it was auto rejected.
Yeah, I will say though, like this is a nice card. If there's a raw one for sale at the Burbank show and you can get it without sales tax and going through eBay, then maybe you just pounce on it for around the price.
It is a card I'll be looking for there. So yeah.
Vin agrees. This is a good looking card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will also. I think it might be relevant. I don't know, probably not. But the Battery Road, the Carlisle Road says he saw that Freddie catching the last out of the World Series for $500, like right after release, and he was like, and passed on it, and has not had a chance since. Those are super rare. I think the print run's like 30.
Yes, the print runs. If you've got a print run in double digits, especially low double digits like that.
Yeah, Shelly the Turtle mentions an Albies popped up recently. I was looking at that too, and then it was gone. Yeah. But no.
A Plumberman with a suggestion to buy a jumbo box.
I'm going to assume sarcasm.
Yeah. Shelly,
going up.
This was where my thoughts were when Chris and I were talking, like, what's the one card I'm looking for? And I'd love to see his flagship black. And that's the other thing when we talked in our last Spitballing Cards, when we were talking about Paul Skeens, his lack of big cards in major sets means that all the money's being funneled into certain cards. When he starts getting more rookie cards, that money's going to spread out, and that might be a better time to buy. And I think it's similar with Chourio. We're going to see a lot of action later in the year from sets.
Set after set after set's going to start coming out. He's going to be in all of them. And a big one comes out very soon, Bowman Chrome, which we're going to talk about in about 10 minutes. But first, I wanted to congratulate a couple people on Instagram.
Great.
So we're going to start with what I think my personal favorite post of the week belongs to Catching Heaters.
Yeah.
And if we look at this, we just see it's Don Mattingly. And you would see that and be like, oh, that's cool. It's a gold minted. So obviously Chris is sweating over this card like a lunatic. But this isn't just a Don Mattingly from 2019 Stadium Club.
No.
Don Mattingly. What?
Chris is checking out his hamstrings there and quads. He's
absolutely
very impressive.
First basemen have to be flexible, Jeff. I feel like they don't get enough credit for that.
Yeah, agreed.
But anyway, this Don Mattingly completes the set for our good buddy Catching Heaters. And the next slide I'll show here is all, I think, is that 90? 90. All 90 2019 Stadium Club gold minted cards.
Incredible.
I don't know what I would do with this. I feel like I'd have to display it. It would have to go up on the wall, like in a hallway in my house that never gets any sunlight.
Yeah.
Something like that. But this is just absolutely phenomenal. He writes in his post, he had been looking for the Mattingly since 2021. And this is the first one.
We were talking about that some of these gold foils, they just don't come up.
They sure don't.
Yeah, Donnie, I tell you, those clips that are going around now where we see Mattingly playing at third, it's pretty fun to see a lefty over there early in his career. Yeah,
he makes a play too. I think he fields a ball and gets a force out at second base.
Yeah, he sure looks good.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a lefty who has played third base in softball, I can tell you that throw is not fun. So for him to do it at the highest level is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, you'd never see that today. That was great that they gave him that chance.
Yes. The only thing more impressive is this set of Stadium Club gold minted cards. So congrats to Catching Heaters. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, there's a new account on Instagram. And as a Braves fan, obviously I was all over this. I enjoy scrolling through it. It's called ATL for the Win. And this guy is obsessed with Braves image variations, like this really cool 2019 dugout peaks out of opening day.
Obsessed with Braves image variations. Is it a burner account, Chris? So,
I wish.
Parsons doesn't know there's even more money going out the door for these.
Jeff, whose side are you on here, buddy? I mean, I tell you one thing in confidence. I wish this was a burner account for me. I really, really wish it was. But this card is awesome. Yeah, you never see these cards. And so if we just click on this is all the 2019 like Topps opening day Braves image variations.
Wow.
And these are just this guy's collection. Like, I love seeing collectors like this who are hyper focused. They want one thing, and that's what they're going to go after. Some of these images are so cool. Like this is Acuna in the dugout with blooper.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Just such a cool. I mean, it's so rare. I love this stuff. Check out his account, ATL for the Win. There's some amazing stuff in here. He does have some non-image variation cards as well, but those aren't as fun to look at. So this is the full run of opening day here.
A question for you, Chris, while you're on there with when you showed that was 2019 opening day, that his run of image variations or SPs.
Yes.
There were a lot of them. Did all teams have that many representatives being featured on image variation cards?
Definitely not. I'll pull it back up. So this was, he has all the different themes in here. So if we go left to right up top, the Albies and Acuna, they both had basic image variations. Then Albies has a rally time. Acuna has a rally time. They each have a socket to me, which is another weird thing that Topps was doing back in opening day. And then Acuna has 2 more dugout peaks down here at the bottom. So I would say that no, most teams were not represented like this.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Soto has 2 or 3 different variations. I think Ohtani has 1 or 2, but they definitely went all in on
the account, Chris.
ATL for the win.
Okay, yep, you're right. Battery, there it is.
Yeah, really cool stuff. If I can just pull up this one card, I think he posted it separately. Yeah, this one right here, I had seen this Ozzie Albies from 2019. It's a rally time. And you can see Albies right here, just excited. It looks like Charlie Culberson just hit a walk-off home run. But I have never, this is the only copy of this card I've seen out in the wild. I knew it existed. Like I've seen it in the Beckett, like image gallery, but I'd never actually physically seen this card. I guess I still haven't, but this is just really cool. I got excited when I saw it.
That's, yeah. Yeah, so check that account out, guys.
Please check that account out. I'm going to stick with the Braves for another second here. Turtle Cards 13, who I know sometimes watches us.
Yes, I saw that post. That was love that card.
Yes, picked up this Heritage dual auto number /25 of Freeman and Acuna. And Jeff, what do you think when there's a dual auto like this and it's one player's rookie card or their rookie year? Should they have the RC on their side or
I
no?
totally think they should. I absolutely do. I wish they did that, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't. It's too bad.
Oh, Shelly's you?
I'm sorry.
Shelly's account.
That makes sense. Turtle Cards 13.
Yeah. That's
Shelly, congratulations. Card. Awesome card.
Yeah.
Really cool. The autos on here are bold. I know Acuna's tends to go right, like the way he does his last name. He goes right off the edge of a lot of cards.
He sure does. Yeah, my Acuna auto, he's off the edge.
Yeah, this card is really cool. So congrats on this. Great pickup. All right. Now, we're going to briefly talk about this one because it's possible. I ran it by Jeff right before the show started. I don't remember if we talked about this card last night or last week or not. So if we did, if someone's in here that was here last week, if I'm doubling up, please let me know. But this card comes from an account called Mays Mantle. So it's a pretty high-end account. And this is a 1990 Topps George Bush card, which has a whole legend about it.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because we were talking about this in the same breath as you talk about the Frank Thomas error. And whether or not this is an SSP. Okay, John and Dad brought it up. So we did talk about it at some point. Okay. I don't know if we showed it, but this was not available in packs, Chris.
That is Topps swears up and down that none of these were put into packs. Absolutely none of them. Now, there are some people who will also swear up and down they pulled it out of packs. I don't know, but the theory behind it was they were printed and they were given to Bush and they were given to the White House. So that, to me, that makes more sense than some trickling into packs, but a level of incompetence there, also makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But this card is just really cool. It's Americana right here. Regardless of your politics, I think this is a pretty cool card. Old black and white photo of him from his baseball playing days at Yale. There's a lot of cool stuff. I like that 90 Topps design. Not many of these at PSA.
No, John and
Is there a total count for these? Off the top of my head, no. I should have looked up how many were graded since I was planning to bring it up anyway. I could do that real quick. I'm guessing not many.
No, and I'm sure there's some at BGS because BGS was still heavily used.
Yes. There we go.
Not obviously when this came out. I don't know when BGS. Do you know when BGS came around? I know PSA was first to the grading table, but for the last couple decades, BGS was very popular.
Yeah. Amazingly, at PSA, Jeff, this shocked me. First of all, there's no PSA 10s of this George Bush card, but there are 120 graded copies.
Oh my gosh, that's way more than I would have guessed.
I would have guessed like 40.
Yeah, and that's graded copies.
Graded copies.
Wow. I would think we'd see them more then at the bigger shows.
Yeah, it's cool. Like that one guy that you mentioned, the no name on front, that one seller at the Burbank show had this and the Frank Thomas. So we both like stopped in our tracks and we're like, ooh.
Yeah.
But very, very cool card.
Shelly's throwing this out. The PSA 6 sitting on eBay for $14K. Maybe it's this one, Chris.
That is a PSA 6, isn't it? It's a nice looking 6.
Yeah, you wonder if it's got a wrinkle. If they handed these out to people at the White House, somebody probably put it in their suit jacket pocket. And Plumberman says there's a second version that's called White House issue.
Okay. Yeah, that was listed. Hold on. Yes, there are 106 of the regular, and then the one that's called White House issue has 14.
So yeah, if the other ones were not pack pulled and were not issued at the White House, I'm not sure how they were distributed.
Yeah. But all right, on to baseball players who are still on the field. I want to talk about Steve Areno's cards Instagram account posted this beautiful heritage refractor of Juan Soto. And I just want to sort of mention this card to people. This is a really cool low numbered. Well, I shouldn't say that low numbered. It's numbered at a 569. There's less than 100 PSA 10s. The shine on these is great. And I think there's still a window to get in on Juan Soto. And this is a really nice card to get. And it's going to set you back, honestly, Jeff, less than the cost of a hobby jumbo box.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But you're right. Some people don't like the photo. Some people think it makes Soto look like he's a 45-year-old man when he's probably 18, allegedly in this picture. But he has been on a tear lately. He's the youngest to do a lot of things. What is he, 25 now? And he's
25 years old.
Clear 200 home runs. He's already, 6th or 7th all time for most home runs and by this age.
Yeah. He's in some very elite company for what he's done at this age. And I really do think, Jeff, that the Soto market as a whole, in terms of cards, is sort of in a holding pattern.
Yep. Just waiting.
We're just waiting. When he signs with the Yankees, if he signs with the Yankees, his stuff's going to go ballistic. But if he doesn't,
I mean, the way he's playing now and with Judge, I mean, are Yankee fans going to forgive Hal if he doesn't get him signed? I mean, this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. But listen, I'm a Braves fan. I will tell you that every day something doesn't happen, it gets closer to not happening.
Well, the price seems to be going up, right? It's crazy.
I mean, I think the starting point is probably something like 15 years, $500 million, right? What's that, about 33 million a year? It's probably something right in there. So assume Steve Cohen's going to beat that and offer 550. Will the Yankees match it?
They should, man. I feel like it's going to be something like a 12-year deal for that price. That's kind of what I think. Shelly asks, as crazy as this sounds, is the offseason going to be a good buying opportunity for Soto before he signs for whatever team? A lot of variables there. It certainly could be.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a gamble right now. Like, legitimately, his numbers will be incredible wherever he goes. But if he does it if he has 10, 12 years in Mets, it's a lot different. Apologize for any Mets fans who are watching this. It's a lot different than 10 or 12 years with the Yankees. Yeah. It just is. There's no way around it.
Professor, I'd say it depends on the Yankees playoff run and how Soto performs. Are you saying about the buying opportunity or whether they sign him? I mean, even if they get swept by the Astros again, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, he's 25. Yeah.
He's got 10 years in his prime coming in right now.
Build around that. You build around the guy.
Yeah.
Abel, I don't know. I mean, he's going to sign an Ohtani type money contract, but there's not a lot of people who are willing to defer that much money for that long. So I don't think that's a standard that's going to be.
And Jeff, I would assume that someone who has refused to sign an extension every single year of his major league career is not looking for deferred money.
Yeah.
I think this gentleman is looking for money up front, money in his pocket, and he's going to get it. But I would be shocked if there's big deferments. I don't think Boris is going to do that. I don't think Soto wants to do that.
No. And at some point, if that's what comes to the table, if it's a 500 versus 550 Yankees or Mets, that's how I feel like he would stay with the Yankees. But if you start getting a bigger gap there, or you throw different teams in there as variables, then I could see him taking the greater money.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. I'm excited to watch it because I don't root for the Mets or the Yankees. The Braves aren't going to touch him. I don't think the Brewers are going to touch him. So Jeff and I, and the Dodgers are probably not. I mean, they're out. So Jeff and I will be very much on the sidelines, just sort of watching the carnage. Because this could get real. Like if the Mets do steal him, people will riot outside Yankee Stadium. I'm sure season tickets will be returned. People are gonna get mad, unless if the Yankees somehow win the World Series this year, they would probably get a pass for not resigning him. But if they don't, and then they let him walk, good Lord, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry E is doing some PSA review on here, saying that there's a print line on the top left. I can't tell from here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I see it like, yeah, there's some lines here above his name, but I'm pretty sure that's just in the plastic, just based on the way the light's hitting it.
Reflection, the lights, it's tough to really.
I mean, these are really, really tough gems because there's not, if there's 569 of them, 400 are off centered.
Right. Centering is really bad on those.
Another 100 are going to have chips. So this is a, whatever the pop is now, I can't imagine that pop changing too much.
No, I think the ones that could be graded are graded.
Yes, I think so. Maybe some wax may get open, Jeff.
That's true. That's true.
But probably probably wax that they know it's not in.
True.
But anyway. All right, so those are my Instagram shout outs for the week.
Excellent choices.
Yeah, there was some fun stuff. I mean, there's always a lot of fun stuff out there. Instagram for baseball cards is really fun.
Yeah.
It both makes you feel good about your collection and then makes you feel absolutely terrible when Jason at Heritage drops a reel of their consignments that are going to PSA and you see like $2 million worth of Mickey Mantles drop out and you're like, wow, my Jared Kelnick collection really isn't that impressive.
Right. Like Keston Hiras, not going to pay for themselves. Similar. I saw Shine on Instagram posted a case of stuff that he's brought to Fanatics Fest, and every card was just like, makes you think, what have we been doing with our collections? But yeah, it's not all about the value, right?
Right. It's the journey. It's the fun times, the people we meet along the way, and the tiniest thread that holds our marriages together as we continue along this.
Donnie's asking, are you guys targeting any cards for Burbank in a week and a half? Yeah, I think
yes.
So we have one more show basically the day before we go to Burbank, so we could talk a little bit more about it then.
We definitely have a couple things we're looking for, and we're going to bring some cards. We may try to trade up or sell some stuff to pay for if we see them, but we'll see. Shelly the Turtle I love hearing Braves talk here. I would love Soto in Atlanta, but at this point now, you'd hate to say there's no room for Soto. Because obviously if Soto wants to come to Atlanta, they'll fit him in there somehow. But like right now, we got Acuna in right, Harrison center. God help us, Jared Kelnick is theoretically under team control for like 4 more years, although I think there's a very good chance he just gets released. And now they have Soler under contract for 2 more years and Ozuna eating up the DH spot once they pick up his option next year. So it's crazy to say there really isn't room for Soto unless they could find someone to take Soler's contract. And I don't think any other team would do that. But they don't need Soto. They really don't. They just need their players to be healthy. Max Fried's almost certainly gone. He's just not going to be worth whatever some team pays him, which stinks because I love the guy.
What's up, Jamie? Yes, Thursday nights with the gang. I'm glad everybody's here to talk the hobby. There's been a lot of negative news, you might say, in the hobby. Some concerning news. We've talked about more on Spitball and Cards, our other channel, especially about the CT scanning issue, and I know that's come up a couple times in the chat, and that's still definitely a concern for me because, as you see, I like collecting wax, but I don't know. I'm hoping that we're going to get some clarity out of some of the powers that be in the hobby as to what can be done about it.
Yeah, I know. How to say this in a nice way. Jeff Wilson posted a YouTube video today where he talks about how he doesn't think it's that big a deal. And he believes it's being slightly, or maybe a little Chicken Little, the sky is falling type feeling out there that he disagrees with. I don't know. I will say, I know that guy has a lot of people that like him and a lot of people that hate him, but I do appreciate that he generally tries to stay positive and look at the positives. And I think we need that in the hobby because there is a lot of negative crap that we all have to deal with and we see happening. So it is nice to be able to go to someone who's going to tell you, hey, this isn't that bad.
Right. We don't have
But
to
I just disagree with him about this in particular. I think it is that bad.
Yeah, and there's been some big names in the hobby, which has been kind of disappointing, saying it's not a real big deal. But yeah, sadly, I think it is. Our friend Teapot, who's one of our co-hosts on Spitball and Cards, is vehemently opposed to that point of view, and definitely shared that with his boss, which is great to see him stand up for that.
Yes, there's actually, if you want to check out that video, it's on Jeff Wilson's channel. It's a pretty good debate. That neither one of them really backs down, which is great. I mean, that's kind of what you would expect from two people that are passionate about the hobby.
Hey, Professor, I hope you're serious about this. This is excellent. I officially found some funds and will be doing a scientific analysis on CT analysis at my university with a student this fall. I really hope that's true. And if it is, make sure you keep us abreast of what you find. And we'd love to be a part of that research. So we'd love to have you on and talk about it. It seems like there's a lot yet to come out about this.
Yeah, SFO Sox fan, yes. So we now, this one person came out and said that they can do this. They can look into pretty much any modern box. They can CT scan it and tell you what's in there. They can tell you if the hit you're looking for is in there, especially boxes like Dynasty or Flawless or National Treasures, stuff that has like one or two potentially huge hits in there. The mystery is gone. The mystery is gone. So just to be clear, if you've missed any of this news that's out there, if you see like a 2018 Dynasty box and you're like, oh, I wonder if there's a Soto auto in there, maybe I'll buy that off eBay. There's no Soto auto in there. Do not buy that off of eBay. Like that box, I'm willing to bet that box has been scanned.
Especially boxes and packs with a small number of cards are very easy to spot. If you've seen this video, it's crystal clear. The Dynasty, Flawless, any of those, they're very clear. So I would avoid purchasing high-end wax.
Yes, it was good, SFO Sox fan, to get that knowledge out there, to have someone who has done this actually talk about doing it and how easy it is. That is good, because anytime someone talks about this, they're not the only person. This has the feeling to me of like, I might get this guy's name wrong, Jeff, but maybe I would consider this guy like the Brian McNamee.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. Like he's one of the guys, but there's also a Balco out there that is doing 10 times the business. And I'm sure there's several more guys like him that are out there doing this.
Yeah. And I think the disappointment inevitably with the video that came out last Sunday was that there were going to be names named and there were specific cards that were going to be shown that were pulled in breaks, that there's also footage of them being CT scanned, and we didn't get that. So that was a little bit of a downer from that, but we obviously know they have the technology.
Yeah, there's a question here from John Smith. We're going to jump gears. Jeff and I could talk about that all day. If you guys have any questions about the CT scanning situation, feel free to put them in the chat. We will get to them, because it's scary and it's really, really frustrating that there's stuff like this out there, that people are doing this, that there's just every day there's less and less things you can trust and more people you can't trust. And it's really, really frustrating.
Oh, Mango for sure. For sure. They can look into repacks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you just have to know who you're buying the packs from. Do you trust them? Do you not trust them? And then you also have to, if you're doing that, I would ask that person where they got the packs from. Because they're just.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
The CT scanner market is going through the roof, Chris. So
I think honestly, it's too late. Like the fact that it's coming out means like the gig is up.
Yeah. And
someone pointed out on in the comments to our spitballing video that in that golden Netflix show, they used a CT scanner to scan boxes of iPhones that they were auctioning off to prove that the iPhones are in the box.
Yeah. Makes you wonder why they would just slide a sapphire box over and
we're not saying anything else. We're just saying that's on the show and they did that. So they have the technology there. And that's all we're going to say. That's all we're going to say about that.
Yeah.
On a more positive note here, John Smith has a fun question.
Okay.
He says, is it worth selling a couple $10 to $15 slab cards of a player to trade up for a bigger card of a player? Or are the eBay fees and shipping on those little cards too much to make it worth it? Jeff, what do you think?
This is an ideal situation to have an in-person trade or sell. And this is why it's great to go to shows, because there are places that'll buy and they're not going to give you the same price you'd get on eBay, but you wouldn't have to pay all the shipping and the fees, and you could probably trade up for something like that. Chris and I have made no secret that we're trying to consolidate, trying to get rid of lower end cards or lesser cards, specifically of the same player, to try to get bigger cards. So I love that, the idea of it, but you're right. You do have to be aware of all the fees you're going to be paying, especially if you do it online.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jeff, would you, if so, say he's got, I don't know, say if you've got 10 of those slabs, it might be worth to put them in one box and ship them off to a consignor on eBay. Have them, run the eBay, the auction for you, have them handle the shipping, because they'll make the buyer pay shipping in those instances. And then you just get a check.
Right. And you could probably get, for the lower end, you're going to get probably about 80%, because usually you have to pay a fee. There's 75 cents or $1 per item, and then you'll get 85% of the sale price. But if you're selling by yourself on eBay, you're not going to get much more than that anyway.
But also, and I will say this as well, just be really honest with yourself before you send those cards in. Because if you think it's a $10 slab, but it's actually like a $2 slab, you won't make a cent. Like they'll take money from you for wasting their time. If it lists and no one buys it, or it sells for like $2, they get angry about that. Most consigners do.
Yes. So consolidation does seem the way to go, but you got to be aware.
Yeah, and it does take effort. There's a lot of legwork and some stress and a lot of tape sounds. The sounds of packing tape in my house. I think it's basically giving my wife PTSD. Like she just doesn't want to hear it anymore.
Chad, trade value to price your cards at? That depends. If you're trading with another collector, as long as you're valuing the cards the same way.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like if you just are both getting recent comps and then you try to figure it out from there. Typically, if you have the bigger card, you'll get a little bit more in trade value versus if you're taking on the smaller cards. Typically, that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just making it like a trade, though, you can just look at eBay sales and whatever that number is. I mean, that's fine, because the other person's doing the same thing. If it's a cash deal, you're probably 80-85% of what you see on eBay.
Yeah,
that's about right. Shelly the Turtle has something exciting here. Worst case scenario, he's going to have a 2018 update rip.
Oh,
that would be really fun to watch, and we would all be pulling for you. I want to see like a nice update black Ohtani, or a nice, maybe a white jersey Acuna, like a lot of cool stuff in there. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Definitely might leave you in tears at the end of it, though.
Likely. But yeah, you wonder as time goes on how much prices of sealed wax are going to go down.
That's true. To paraphrase a great movie line, Jeff, don't cry at the beginning of a rip. Cry at the end, like I do. I changed one word.
Well,
anyone know what movie that's from besides M. Parsons? If anyone knows what movie that is, put in the comments. I would love to hear it.
It sounds vaguely
great sports-related movie.
Kevin says, looking for unbiased thoughts, opinion, chances Andrew McCutchen is a Hall of Famer. If you had to give a percentage chance, what do you think?
Ooh. All right. Well, as we may or may not know, Kevin is one of the biggest and best Andrew McCutchen collectors on Instagram. 25%. Because I do think there's a chance that once he hits the veterans ballot, that he could start creeping up.
Agreed.
The main ballot, no, but it down the road, he's got a shot. If Roland could get in that way,
and Baines,
I think McCutchen can too.
I'd go, I'm under 5% on the writers' ballot, but I'd put it at about 25% on Veterans Committee. Yeah,
this for Pete's sake as a funny. And yeah, this is the thing that like I appreciate Jeff's optimism, but it does make me feel fairly confident that stuff in his shop has not been scanned. I at this point, I would feel very comfortable if I'm going to buy wax and I'm in Atlanta, I would buy it from his shop and I would not be
by him though, right? So
but he's getting stuff straight from Fanatics, like straight
right now for sure. But the higher end stuff, if we're talking 2017, 2018, a lot of shops get those in not direct from the consumer at the time of manufacture. So I still don't know.
That's true. And you and I aren't in the market. We're not ripping a Dynasty, or we're not ripping a $1,500 box anyway.
No.
308 Sniper, I hear what you're saying. And yeah, I think that's suspect number one on everyone's list. And we all want to know if there's proof of it, put that proof out there so we can stamp it on their foreheads forever. But until that proof is out there, it's, no, we don't want to like cast aspersions when we're not 100% sure,
Yeah. And our friend Teapot did a great mathematical analysis of several breakers and their surprising success, we'll say, over the past couple of years. And at least in his mind, he feels like this is a very real way that those people were getting those numbers. So we'll have to see if that's as more comes out, like Chris said.
All right, William Stokacher has an interesting question, and this is one that we talked about. Do we think the breaker that found an atomic Shohei during the National Live with Topps likely scanned the box beforehand to ensure there was a massive hit caught live? Now, I'm not going to say I will say that someone scanned that box. Someone knew that was in there. I don't know who, but someone absolutely knew that was in there. Not a chance in hell. That's a random poll, Jeff. No way. I don't know who. Someone knew. And
it's happened repeatedly with superstar players or athletes opening a box and getting a huge hit.
There was a 2011 update box ripped like at the National, maybe 2 Nationals ago. Do you remember? And they pulled the black Mike Trout was in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's sad that it brings skepticism to all of these big pulls because you just don't know what you want it to be. I mean, it was there. Yeah.
It was there. We got to see the card. That's cool. But
the
magic of, and someone ended up with it, so whether there was like any kind of backdoor deal, like, I don't know, but it sucks. You can't trust it. You just can't.
No. And a lot of comments about getting from trusted places. Yes. And I don't know. Part of me is because I am skeptical about a lot of things, but even these places that get them directly, how far back do we go? How do we know for sure that even somebody at the manufacturer isn't running these through a machine or the distributor? So it's hard. Like Chris said, it's not really our market, that high end stuff, but I would be
there's definitely, it's going to reach a point where any product with a potential 4-figure hit is going to get looked at real quick.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Stadium Club should be left alone. But yeah, Chris Hayes, you're exactly right. The shadow of ever present. That's great wording too.
Yes.
Good prose right there.
Yeah.
I was going to say SFO Sox fan with a similar, slightly different analogy. Yeah. Teapot's assassination drone analogy was a little bit harder hitting.
Yes, it got right to the meat of the matter, as you might say. Forbidden Donut, thank you. Really appreciate that. Adding to the weekly whiskey fund. Thank you, Forbidden Donut. And looking at the profile picture there, you must be a fan of Chris's decor behind him as well.
Yes, an excellent username, Forbidden Donut. Hopefully, there will be no donut forever, ill-gotten donut forever on your head. John says he heard a doctors using CT scans on Pokemon in the early 2000s.
Oh man. Oh, John. Well,
not impossible.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that stinks.
So for Pete's sake, says it's possible it can benefit trusted vendors in the hobby. I think so. And I know our friend Filmington is one of the most esteemed repackers that we know. And he has a Rookie Explosion box that he sells. And as of this month now, he is saying he's revealing the source of every single one of the affected or higher end products, which is incredible. I don't think anybody doubts Filmington's integrity, but it is just a nice added benefit to know if he had bought it in 2018, 2019. It seems like I know despite what John just said, it seems like the technology's become more prevalent, at least in recent years, and more used. So you'd like to think if you've had stuff a while, like some of the wax I've had, that it didn't run through, but there's just
no way of knowing. Yeah, but yeah, like Jeff said, I for one I would never doubt Filmington, but you would have to question. He has to question where his boxes came from.
Yeah,
which is the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
And it just seems, I mean, and we've seen what happens in this hobby. Even this, I hate to say self-proclaimed, there's some hobby watchdogs, you know, that were always out there busting other scams. And then, hey, guess what? They turned out to be
Scammers
giant
themselves.
scammers themselves.
The biggest scammers around, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, it's
Uh,
really, really hard to know.
yeah, Shelly, we've talked about that. And
Yeah.
at some point, it's price prohibitive. But at the same time, if somebody has access to these machines, then who's to say they can't just keep running through? Mike is talking about the Mike Trout opening today with his son and pulled out the auto.
Doesn't it stink though? What a great video. And his kid was so excited. That high five was epic. That high five was fantastic. I watched that, like, give me a gif of him high-fiving his kid right there over and over. Amazing moments. But the problem is now in the back of all of our minds.
Yeah. What did he call it? The shadow.
The shadow. The shadow's there.
Is cast over. So you can't enjoy it the same way you did before.
Yeah. I mean, I'll enjoy it because I know that Mike Trout, from every interview we've seen with Trout, like, this is going to sound mean. I don't mean it to be mean, but Mike Trout's he's not smart enough to be that good of an actor. You know, there's no way. I believe it was fully genuine on his part.
Agreed.
But the person that gave him the boxes or sold him the boxes, there's got to be, I mean, that's for clicks. Yeah. Come on.
Mango,
it was a great moment. I was saying
too, about getting stuff from third-party distribution. Hard to know. You just, whoever had access to these machines probably used it to their benefit. Yeah,
and it's scary. Like, the higher end cards that it could be, the more likely. I mean, obviously that's common sense. Like, the more likely. And so, yeah, like 2024 Dynasty is going to come out. And between now and then, Topps has got to figure something out. So Jeff Wilson said in his video that he has heard from Fanatics. They're aware of this and they're working on possible solutions. But there's no way they can release Fanatics, or they can release my brain just broke, Jeff. Thank you. There's no way they can release Dynasty without addressing this and doing something to those boxes, or else they are just putting out a worthless product that no one's going to buy.
Yeah.
And we all want the Paul Skeens card in there is going to be absolutely enormous.
And you know that's going to roll right through. Or think about the what's it going to be? An update, the MLB rookie debut patches?
An update will be the most interesting thing, because theoretically Topps update should be a fairly not low cost, because everything with Fanatics is expensive now.
Though, right.
Yes, yeah, lower. Yeah. Usually, like, a hobby box is under $100 and the jumbo is like $200 for update, something in that range.
Yeah.
That sound right? My guess is those prices are going to go up. But I mean, that Skeens MLB debut patch is probably a $200,000 card.
At least after seeing what some of these other ones.
So yeah, I mean, those things are going to get, those cases are going right into scanners for sure.
Yeah. And especially something with a product like that, that's mainly a low end product, but has a couple specific extremely high end cards. That's all you need to scan for. That's all you need to look for.
And those are thick. They should be really easy to spot. Yeah. And there's going to be a bunch of them though. So that'll drive people crazy. There could be like upwards of 200 MLB debut patch.
There should be a lot of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm glad they're doing that again. I think those cards are great. But yeah, that'll be really interesting. Well, everyone's going to be on bated breath to see where that Skeens shows up. And if it shows up at the place that was mentioned in the comments, I think we have to, I don't know.
A couple specific places. And Jacob, I've heard this conspiracy that yes, that Fanatics is behind this, or there's some relation. I would say that I don't think so, but at some point, maybe somebody unaffiliated with Fanatics, or might be an employee of Fanatics, a rogue employee, who's to know? So even if they're selling direct to the consumer, what's still the guarantee that nobody at Fanatics, at the manufacturer, is scanning the products?
It's a
There's
huge
no real guarantee.
Yeah. Tell me the complete guarantee. No one on the loading docks, no one out there. But yeah, if that is true, and I've heard people talk, I love a good conspiracy theory. Then I almost like you just tip your cap to Fanatics, right? I mean, they're playing like 3D chess while the rest of us are out here playing Yahtzee. Like, they're in a different universe than us if they're doing this on purpose. So I'm going to say no. That seems really, really unlikely.
From I believe someone who has some intimate knowledge of CT scans, as we just talked about. Professor says, I don't want to sound negative, but there's not much Fanatics could do without making cards completely cost prohibitive. We've heard in the last week, we've heard a lot of speculation about things they could do, including putting lead-lined boxes or finding some way that radiation will change the color of a box so you know that it's been through. It sounds like there's a lot of things being thrown out there by specifically people who don't know about what CT scans are capable of. And I agree. It seems like just another reason to raise prices. No matter what they do, they're going to be able to raise prices and blame it on that. But I don't know what they can do. Someone
in the comments of our video suggested, and they weren't joking either. They said that a tiny amount of uranium in the box wouldn't necessarily be harmful to people, and it would destroy a CT scanner. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, great. This is how like the X-Men get started, you know, they're going to start mutating because of their boxes. And CT scanners, we have small, low-level nuclear blasts happening like all over the country when people CT scan these boxes.
Right.
So,
and I don't people start being born with extra arms and legs. Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a great idea.
Yeah.
On an unrelated to CT scanning, more of a baseball card question. Three White Sniper wonders, do we think Ohtani cards will go up once he gets to 40-40? Is that a thing? Is that like another benchmark for him to just hurdle over without any real problem?
I mean, he might be there next week. I don't know. I think maybe more of we might see an MVP bump. Maybe if he has some big postseason moments, we could see a bump. But really, I was coming into this year, I was skeptical that Ohtani would be as impactful as he's been. I thought it was going to be more of even a mental issue, like not going out to the mound every sixth day or what he was used to pitching. I thought it was going to be tougher on him to be able to just focus on hitting. And obviously it wasn't, especially with all the other stuff he had going on with his translator, right? As the season was getting going, he's shown that he's pretty mentally able to handle anything. So I thought this might've been the down year. This might've been the time to buy more Ohtani. Now, I don't know. Yeah, he goes 40-40. He's MVP, has some postseason exposure, and then we have all offseason to look forward to him getting back on the mound next year as well. So,
yes, I'm with you, Jeff. I thought this would be a good buying year because whatever he did offensively, other people hit. So that's not a big deal. We need to see him back on the mound for the Cards to go nuclear. I don't know. I don't think 40. Honestly, I would say no. I don't think 40-40 gives him a bump. I think the thing Jeff said that's the key is the postseason. Like an NLCS MVP. And then we've got a serious Ohtani growth situation for sure. Because that's something he hasn't done yet.
Agreed.
A third MVP in 7 years? Is that now we're at Trout level?
Yeah, and he's got worldwide appeal, but like Chris says, he hasn't done it in the postseason. So maybe the few people who aren't completely aware of what he's doing, if he's able to do it on the postseason stage, even better.
There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be some haters. I think we might know one of them, Jeff.
Yes, there's a few haters around. There are a few skeptics.
A couple of huge hits in the playoffs to get. I mean, think about it this way: the Dodgers for 2 years in a row now, they're like 1-6 in the division series. So if they get through the division series this year, a lot, and he has a good series, a lot of it will be like they needed Ohtani to get through this one. And the National League doesn't really have a dominant team. The Phillies have definitely come back down to earth. The Braves stink.
And
I could think the Padres look pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
The Dodgers are getting healthy.
But yeah, so I would say that
Mango, to answer your question here, I think long-term Ohtani's Angels cards, because those are his rookies. Yeah. I think that's just the way the hobby goes now. He's going to have some great and important Dodgers cards, and especially some of the first SPs or SSPs, or if he's got any World Series champion trophy cards he's holding in the future are going to be great. But it's those rookies. And especially since he changed his autograph. Yeah, that's a good point.
So the original autos are all with the Angels, and his new auto will be all the Dodgers cards. So there will be some Dodgers cards that are going to maintain and hold value for sure. But like Jeff said, the Angels ones are always going to be better.
A similar question from Abel, Chris, about Soto. Again, it's his rookies. It's those Bowman first. I think those are going to hold a lot of weight. And if he signs long-term with the Yankees, I think those will also hold value. Now, if he signs with another team long-term, I think it's going to even push more weight to his early cards.
Yes, I 100% agree. Those early Nats cards, and there aren't very many rookie cards for him compared to other players. Those are going to be great. The Soto Shuffle auto is a national auto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the Padres cards are the ones that right now are going to suffer.
Mhm.
And if he signs with the Mets, the Yankees cards, people are going to get angry at them. Unfortunately. Going back to what we were talking about before, John mentions the lead is absolutely not going to work, not going to happen. But some sort of scramble card first. Yeah, I mean, it can get. Someone was saying that they just need to put like a thick card in every pack, like a fake, but they can see the surface of that thick card. So that's not going to do it either.
Right. Yeah. Or somebody saying go to all redemptions that don't have any.
Yeah, exactly the same thickness, but
yeah, the easiest things to tell are foil and pen autographs. It sounds
and like in a box like Dynasty, you can read. Yeah. They'll read the redemption card right through the box.
Yeah.
So unless you have to, even if you put the redemption cards foil, Jeff, and you have to scratch the foil to see the name on the redemption card. I mean, can they see through foil? Because I know people do this with lottery tickets. So I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility. But boy, that changes Dynasty entirely, right? Instead of, they don't even need the fancy boxes if they're just handing out scratch off tickets, essentially.
It does. And maybe that's why our buddy Teapot got so fired up, because as you know, he's been a huge proponent of Dynasty and that becoming the card in baseball, which there are a lot of good reasons he gave, but this would be a huge reason against those becoming the card.
I also want to really, really briefly, Jeff, just jump topic entirely. Mango Bango 69. I appreciate your guess. This is a fantastic movie, but it's not the one that I was referencing. The exact quote is, "Don't cry at the beginning of a date. Cry at the end like I do." So, but it's not A League of Their Own. But A League of Their Own is a fantastic movie. And Jennifer Garner's bastardizing of the "no crying in baseball" speech to try and sell me a credit card, that infuriates me, Jeff. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry, get us back on point, Jeff, before I start rambling.
Mango says, I don't know, just spitballing. Great use of spitballing. He was asking about glass.
Oh,
glass,
I don't know.
not reflect back. I lost track of where it is.
Yeah. So I'm trying to catch up here too. Ooh. All right, so that's cool. Yeah, I mean, any Soto on-card auto is there'll be a floor for sure. It's not like the Padres autos are going to go in the garbage, but there'll be a floor, but there's also going to be a fairly low. Excellent point. Thank you, M. Parsons. There'll be a fairly low ceiling as well, I think. So Cardaholic says he believes, or she believes, that Topps knows what is in each box. I'm not 100% sure I agree with this.
And they've said that they don't, which you can't really trust, I guess. But right. I believe the cards are packed out at a different place than where they're manufactured. There's some sort of separation of duties that would make this difficult.
So Dave here, I'm way behind in comments, so I apologize, Jeff, if we already sort of spoke on this. But maybe this is why you mentioned update. But
I didn't. That's not why, but yes, that's a great point.
So Deep says, luckily, my favorite products are Flagship and Flagship, Series 2, and Update. No one's scanning those. Ha ha ha. I wouldn't say that about Update, because Update is going to contain a 6-figure card, and there's going to be a massive, massive hunt for that card. It's also, I mean, it's not just Skeens too. Merrill will be in there. Holiday's going to be in there.
Ellie, right?
Ellie De La Cruz. Well, did he debut? Didn't he debut last fall?
But he still should be in there this year because he didn't have. Because anybody that debuted last year that could fit in the set.
Relics, thank you. Relics got it. One of my favorite lines. One of my favorite movie lines of all time. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I feel like if they I don't know. Did they do that? Well, they didn't do it last year because they didn't have the patches on the cards.
No, so Ellie should be in this year. That's what my point was saying, why there's going to be so darn many, because everybody that couldn't make it, it was too late after they debuted last year.
Yeah, Evan Carter should have one too. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some really, really valuable. That's arguably the second best card for all those players of all their cards that are ever going to be. I would not be shocked if there's a lot of scanning of Update.
Forbidden Donut, he would not be the first player to win an MVP in both the National League and American League, although it's very rare. Yeah. Anyone want to tell us who else has done that? Anybody want to throw? We'll leave it up there for the. Right off the top of my head, I know of one, Jeff. I think there's been two, but I'm struggling to come up with the second one. Yes, I know there's one because then I thought somebody else did, but then I get confused if that's just Cy Young in both leagues.
We'll see what the commenters say. I'm sure they'll get the first one, the obvious one, but you never know. Okay.
Professor? Yeah. All right. Everybody, no Pujols, Bonds, no, but all the Frank Robinsons are correct. Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Andrew P has a very interesting question that I love talking about this, and I have a really good example that I think will tie into where I want this conversation to theoretically go on.
Okay.
So, do we think that Topps flagship variations lose value by having the same images used on base chrome? Absolutely, because the novelty of it being an image variation is immediately gone. Like, that card should be special, especially if they're all doing these golden mirrors or everyone has one. It would be utter lunacy to take someone's golden mirror and throw it into another set. Not impossible, but it would be a little bit stupid. Last year, Gunnar Henderson's golden mirror is him, if I'm not mistaken, in the dugout. It's horizontal.
Getting high fives, yeah.
And he's high-fiving everyone. Really, really cool card. I think it's one of his best-looking rookies. Jeff and I, quite famously, at least to ourselves, missed out on buying Gunnar Henderson because we're dumb. But that was
quick update. I did get one in the reveal last night.
True.
My Montgomery club, which didn't buy.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, so that was one that we were both looking at and kind of contemplating buying. But they did sort of reuse. They took that same image and cropped it.
Yeah.
And it might be a quarter second later, but it's the same thing for his Bowman Chrome rookie image variation. So unfortunately, that card, that sort of general same image does show up again, which is a bummer. They did it with Wander Franco, actually. Let me get this right. His Bowman Chrome image variation was the base card in Stadium Club Chrome, which was obviously it doesn't matter now. They're all worthless anyway, but that was a bummer to see.
Jacob said, was talking about the Freddie Freeman, the celebration is also an image in Heritage.
It's really similar. Yeah, there's a stupid Heritage base card. I don't know why they did that. When I saw that in Heritage, it was just like the loudest face palm I've ever done. I couldn't believe they would reuse.
It's close enough to where it's.
But it doesn't, that obviously for emotional reasons, I didn't really care. I needed the flagship one, and that's the one that I went at. I don't have the Heritage one. Now, had they given us like a red ink auto at a Heritage on that card, that would have been spectacular. But sadly, we didn't get that. But yeah, you're right, Jacob. That was a bummer. That should never, ever happen. There's enough images of these players.
Well, and as we know from one of Chris's favorite players, Spencer Strider had pretty much the same image for the first 6 sets he was in.
Oh, more than that. I think it's like 9 rookie cards with the same image. They cropped them differently, but it's just so weird. Speaking of Spencer Strider, we've talked about before. I wanted to just mention this because I was talking about something else with Jeff earlier. But so he doesn't have a Topps Chrome base card. Has not had one ever. Not in 2023, 2022, 3, or 4. Not in any of the Topps Chrome sets. Even when they expanded the checklist to 300, they didn't give him one. But they did give a Topps Chrome card to a player wearing the jersey of a team that he has not played a single game for in his career. More trivia for everybody. Maybe he will in September, but there's a player in Topps Chrome featured wearing a Major League jersey of a team he has yet to appear in a Major League game for.
Oh, is it?
And he's
Joey Votto in a Blue Jays jersey? I'd enjoy that.
Yes, it is Joey
really?
Votto. Yes, he has a Topps Chrome card for the Blue Jays.
Wow.
But Spencer Strider, who is, actively on the real, sadly not that active, but anyway.
Oh, and Plumberman says Joey Votto as well. That's about Sox fan. When you say missed out on Gunnar, you mean the massive items, Bowman Chromes, red inks, or are you willing to get lower rookie chrome autos, etc.?
All of it. Didn't buy any of it.
No.
The 2 cards I was looking at was a Golden Mirror SSP and a Heritage red ink. And the Heritage red ink was a little off-center top to bottom, like a lot of them are. It was like, I want to say it was $6.99 on eBay in December. And I was like, man, maybe I don't have any Gunnar Henderson. That's a good one to go for. But I bought a Spencer Strider card instead.
And Gunnar was one of those, could he have been Corbin Carroll, who fell off the cliff in the second year, or has he turned into Bobby Witt, which seems like he's the latter. So yeah, he was already kind of expensive, but we saw that first year and he was still priced pretty high in the winter, like Chris said, and just didn't do it.
Yeah. Everyone screws up, and we're happy to talk about our screw ups with you guys. And hopefully, like other people on Instagram, like that dude 2 weeks ago, they learn. If you guys learn from us, then maybe I'll learn from you learning from us, because I'm not going to learn from myself.
Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm trying to grab some. So I was looking at, I heard, all right, SFO Sox fan. Yes, I also really love Yahtzee. And I learned last year, and damn it if my wife didn't let me buy it, but there's like an oversized outdoor Yahtzee that's kind of like the size of lawn darts, but they're big. They're probably like, each dice is like 6 by 6 inches or 8 by 8 inches.
You got like a 5-gallon
barrel. Yes, they come in a Home Depot, like one of those orange Home Depot buckets.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. But I was like, we could play it outside. We'll just throw it against the garage door. And I think my wife was hearing that tape sound in the back of her head. So that got vetoed.
This is a question for Chris. It probably, since it's Dodgers, I was going to say Chris could talk about this for an hour, Freddie Freeman. But if it's only Dodgers, probably not as many things Chris wants to say.
Not as many. I would say the number one Freddie Freeman card in a Dodgers uniform. Hold on. I have it. There it is. Okay. There's two you got to get. Number one on the list is this guy. This is his 2023, right? Yeah. 2023 Gold Mirror SSP. And it has two amazing things on it. The first is his World Series ring, which he was just getting right there. And the second is that smile.
I thought you were going to say the two things were 2 sets of teeth on the front. You get the double your Freddie Veneer's pleasure.
Yeah, but this is absolutely, this is the first Freddie Freeman Dodgers card I think you should go after. And the second would be his 2022 update SSP, which is a really cool shot of him in the batting cage. That focus, that's why he's going to get 3,000 hits.
Yep.
I think those are his two best Dodgers cards.
Chris, Donnie's on. You can't be smacking those slabs around that without sleeves on them. He doesn't like it. Don't you like the sound of that plastic going a little bit?
I love that plastic sound.
Great sound.
I have gotten more sleeves. Jake, our buddy Jake, which I'm sure you saw, really laid into me about not having all of my slabs in sleeves. But I try to explain that I stutter sometimes with SLs, so it's tough to get sleeves on slabs and say it repeatedly. But I do need to get more of those.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right, Donnie. I got to be better.
Shelly's throwing out, don't forget about the Betts Freeman true photo from this year.
Yes, that card is really cool. That's another great one. And I'm holding out hope we're going to get a Freeman Ohtani or a Freeman Betts dual auto in Heritage and high number this year.
Yeah. So Gabagoat says, thank you. Haven't seen either of those. He's going to look them out.
There is, it's not mine. So I'm not pumping anything that I have, but there is a Freeman. There's a raw World Series ring SSP on my slabs, I think, if you want to check that out.
Check it out.
That's the only one I've seen out and around.
Find my slabs. For the game, Paul, we appreciate you tuning in. You must be a new viewer if you're asking what Chris is drinking. It's either whiskey or bourbon, and probably Coke Zero.
Yes, exactly. As I discussed, I'm still working. This is almost done, Jeff.
Ninja Squirrel came in with the Jack Daniels. Okay, all right. It's slowed down a little bit. I appreciate that.
It was almost emptied last night after that 7 came up. Yes. Yeah. And a refreshing 0 sugar Coke Zero. Because, at our age, it's the sugar that does us in, Jeff.
Well, it's not the alcohol.
No.
Oh boy, SFO Sox fan. I didn't even know this. I didn't know. He's rocked me by Great White in your stories with the comment of the week last week. Thanks for noticing. Yes, that song is in heavy rotation on my playlist. I love it. But I did not know that the lead singer passed away. So I guess that's a pretty tough jinx.
Geez, Jeff. I don't know.
Well, thanks for the information. Now, next time it comes on, I'm going to listen to it in memoriam.
Please don't use any Foo Fighters songs in any future.
I was going to say, I best be careful with what I choose.
Right? So Mango Bango was asking, I wanted to ask you, Jeff, actually, did you buy any of the base Topps Now cards?
No, but this came up in the chat earlier. Did you see it was 588,000 is the print run on that?
Yep.
They're just printing money over there. That's crazy. So just for one for a chance to get that one card. But I haven't thought about this, Chris. What could we offer for a bounty on that card? We know what Jeff Wilson's offering for a bounty on that card. It seemed like that didn't go over too well in the hobby. It seems like he's underselling the value of this card a little bit.
I will say, we've talked about Jeff Wilson before tonight. I will say I really enjoyed that video because to me, I didn't see a celebrity. I just saw a guy who really, really wanted a card and was trying to think of what he could do to get that card. And that's what he came up with. Like a bunch of money, like VIP to a game, we'll rip a box. Like to me, that just looked like a dork asking other dorks to sell him a baseball card, like, or a nerd begging other nerds for cards. I thought it was fantastic. I
okay,
really
well,
enjoyed...
with that in mind, we could offer a trip to Blabbin headquarters.
Yeah, I mean, we could
on
sit
the show.
Yeah, we could sit here in my little cave. We could watch a baseball game. We could drink some Jack Daniels. The value would be significantly less than what is being offered. But
Yes.
did you buy one of those cards, Jeff?
No, nope, I did not.
I didn't either. And even my wife was like, why didn't you enter? Why didn't you enter? You could have won.
With the success of that, I mean, 588,000, that blows away any Tops Now record.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine that they're going to try more things like this. So there's going to be a lot more lottery tickets.
Yes.
With
But
Tops Now.
this I'm fine with. Like, I thought this was great. I love this. And I love seeing how many people bought into it because that's how many people have interest in the hobby on some level.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed seeing that number. It was crazy.
And I hope it goes to somebody who just bought one card or two cards, not the person that's buying 1,000 cards.
That's the thing. And Topps has to be aware. If they do this completely randomly, let's just say it's random, and like Nat Turner's name comes up, like you throw it out and you go to the next name. Like this can't go to someone that anyone recognizes. This has to go to some complete stranger who bought like some 12-year-old kid who saved up like his newspaper route money.
And then, but then you wonder, like, what if it goes to somebody who's not publicizing it, somebody without an IG account, and they just have it, and that would burn Topps because Topps would they'd say, well, you never put it in. You didn't even put this promised product in.
I mean,
you got it.
I think Topps will tell you the name. I bet they'll announce the winner. I don't know. I don't know, but I would rather that. I would rather it go to no one who has no social media presence than
I would too. But yeah, I don't know. I can't.
But I do like the idea that
they'll really out the winner without the winner's permission. Otherwise, people are going to be hounding that person.
Yeah, but I hope they do this again. Like, let's say the Dodgers win the World Series. I know some people don't want that to happen, but maybe they do. Maybe we get a 3-card. I bet probably won't be signing, but maybe we get they offer like a Freeman, Ohtani, Kershaw, and maybe there's like 5 autos in there with the, that wouldn't sell 500,000, but it would sell pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Jacob says, if I talk to my wife about that, she'd probably make me sleep in the car for a week.
I don't know. I think it was like $10 to buy one card.
Yeah.
What does Topps make? What's their profit on the base card? Because they got to buy the holder, and maybe with shipping, it's probably like $15. Oh, dude, well, it's really fun.
We've been looking for sponsors. So Yahtzee, if you're out there,
it comes with like a dry erase board to keep score on too.
That's great.
You know what? I'm buying it anyway. I'll have to lie. It's hard to fake that when it arrives though, Jeff. I can't say that that's anything else.
Abel says, if I pulled that card, I would tell no one, lock it up somewhere. Agreed. I think that might happen. And then Topps gonna
see what I would send. I would put it right up on eBay, but I would send it to like a consigner and just put it up on eBay, and I'm cashing out. But that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
As much as honestly, I would probably enjoy that day with Jeff Wilson. I would go in his shop and get the highest end box possible to rip. We go to like a Braves playoff game.
It would be enjoyable, but it'd be way less.
Yeah.
Than what you
I bet that card clears. If it goes right up on eBay, I bet it clears like, close to like $400,000 maybe.
I bet. I was thinking $500,000 because you've got fans with huge, deep pockets that would remember the Olympics. Steve says, I want the Topps Now. First walk-off, Andy Pajes rookie. I was at that game with and this is the reason to buy Topps Now. I've said this before. Chris and I and a couple buddies went to a game last year when the Yankees were in town. Saw Ohtani hit a home run. They had a Topps Now card of that. I picked it up. I love that use of Topps Now.
Yes, I do wish they also made a Tops Now card of our Yankee fan friend who had his face in his hands for like the next 20 minutes after that home run because he was so despondent. I would have bought that card as well.
Yeah.
But we have pictures of it, so it's fine.
Chris, we've got some suggestions here of things we could do.
Okay.
M. Parsons is suggesting a VIP tour of the garage.
Okay. We got some fun stuff out here. I'm not going to lie.
Covered by the door that was going to take the brunt of the Yahtzee. Let's see
that door.
We've got, and another Forbidden Donuts' auction a night of yard Yahtzee. Offer some bourbon and lawn Yahtzee. I see a theme here. And I'll give you all my Cody Funderbunk autos.
Dude, all right, SFO Sox fan, if you're ever out here, 2 Cody Funderbunk autos, and you're in. You're in for the day. We'll have some drinks. We'll play yard Yahtzee. I wonder if they float. I bet we could do it in the pool.
That's true.
But I also wanted to just a quick shout out to our good buddy Jamie Kerrigan with some important life-saving comments here. Shout out to the CT scanner who discovered he had cancer and saved his life. That's what we should be using these scans for. And exactly right. I'm glad you're still with us, Jamie Kerrigan.
Yes, Jamie, glad you're still with us. And yes, that's the reason that there's so much time and money and really smart people putting it into making these machines. And
and Jacob,
finding a 10 of 10 F1 patch is probably
not the intended result. And Jacob, be careful investing in uranium. I think there's probably, some of those sales are probably going to be watched.
Right.
Be careful how much you're buying. Douglas Campbell, you might want to
get some plutonium, like in Back to the Future, right?
Right. I mean, that's easy. That worked out well. Douglas, maybe you need a CT scanner to get some close-up views of the third leg.
Yeah, and maybe you had some radiation. That's
there you go. Yeah, stay away from the uranium, Jacob. Oh, this is actually a really good. Henry E says, we'll all be X-Men and we'll all be Gambits with the car. That would actually be pretty cool. If we all got that power and we could
Except Jake's would be covered in plastic and just bounce right off the
oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, this is an excellent question, Jedi Sith Lord. I sense a little bit of sarcasm here, but he's wondering if we're still worried about Judge. Yes, I'm still worried. I still don't know if he's going to make it through a full season without getting injured. But I hope he's blown me away with how healthy he's been able to stay.
Yes, I have seen a lot of Grisham in center field, which I think is great, great for Judge. But yeah, I will always be concerned. I mean, it can happen at any minute. Like, obviously, he's incredible.
Yeah, he is incredible. He just hit his 300th home run in far fewer games. As we've talked about before, our biggest concern about him and his Hall of Fame future was his late start. So while he's done in the fewest amount of games, he's also getting kind of old. So unless he puts these monster seasons together, he's probably not going to get the 600 home run club. But if he keeps putting together seasons like this, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, 2 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year, 3 seasons of 50+ home runs. His home run case, or his Hall of Fame case, will be pretty easy to make. It's crazy what he's doing. It's nuts. I mean, it just seems like I don't know. It's hard to really quantify how someone. I'm not casting aspersions, but how someone at age 32 has their best season ever. Like, it's weird. If this were 10, 20 years ago, we'd all be like, well, obviously, but we know that that's not the case with all the testing. So it's just, he's a unicorn, someone that big to be able to stay healthy like this and do what he's doing. Cause you see his teammate Stanton, who's just as big, physically just can't maintain. He cannot stay on the field. So good for him. I'm happy for him. He seems like a great guy. He's having an incredible season. I want to shit on him a little bit, but I can't. Like, everything it's stupid. The person going into the season I would say I was most injury concerned about is Judge. And maybe
absolutely
I should have been more injury concerned about my own backyard.
But look at all the other great athletes that have been Mookie Betts. I mean, a lot of fluke injuries, but they've, Judge has been able to avoid them. He's been able to avoid that Dodger Stadium wall, as somebody said.
Yeah, his calf, his hamstring, all that stuff. Guys that size, like, their legs tend to be issues.
So do you hold on Judge or sell? What would you do, Chris?
I I don't know. It depends what your buy-in was. I will say, like,
Yeah.
if you're into Judge and for very little, and you're seeing massive, massive gains, then I would be really tempted to sell the cards and put them into an Ohtani. That's where my head would be. Jeff and I we have a couple Judge cards.
If there's one player whose popularity, especially worldwide, would eclipse that, even if Judge hits another 60 this year, it would be Ohtani. So yeah, it's we hold Judge on low during the World Series. Yeah, if the Yankees make it, who's to say what kind of run those cards could go on? Forbidden Donut says hold, sell the week of MVP announcement. Steve Martin says, I need to keep one Judge at least. I need to get one. That sounds like something M. Parsons would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, so okay. Assuming nothing, like his trajectory, that's a gesture I won't make. Assuming his trajectory stays the same, and he's at, like, if he gets to 55 home runs, once he gets there with some games left, that's probably sell then. Because the potential for a 60 home run season is going to send his stuff into the stratosphere.
That's a good point.
That would be my if he gets to 55, start selling, because there'll be a time to buy it back for less. I think. My opinion, and just to quick run it down. I invested in Cole Strider. I said I was out on Guerrero. Wearing a Braves jersey, big Acuna fan. Just my 2 cents.
Yankees need to sign Soto, or teams will walk Judge more. Yeah. Cardaholic says, put your money in Ohtani or Witt Jr.
Ohtani.
Witt's having a great season. He plays a premium position. He's young and talented. He's probably going to be the face of the Royals, at least for the next decade. But Ohtani is just generational, and I don't know if there's anybody else that would be better of current players. Forbidden Donut throws a 48 Jackie out there. Yes, I'm sure there's pockets of vintage you could find that would be a better use of money than modern players. But like Chris and I have talked about, we love collecting players we can watch. We love collecting players who are currently playing. And so we were a little late getting into Ohtani, but I feel like that's just a smart way to go.
Yeah, Ohtani is the only guy that 100% will be remembered forever. Like, he will be, of current players, like, he's always going to be talked about forever and ever. The most famous baseball player of all time. That said, if you have bottomless pockets, the 48 Jackie here, there's some of those that, like, authenticated signatures on them. That's probably, I would take that card over any 52 Mantle, over any Honus Wagner.
Yep.
Give me a Jackie Robinson, that early Jackie Robinson autographed, 100%. I think that's probably the single greatest baseball card of all time.
And when we're talking about effects beyond just the game, yeah, Jackie Robinson might not have the best statistics of any player, but we know his place in history. He's the only guy who said his number retired by the entire league. So yeah.
So yeah, that's our 2 cents. I do think Ohtani is he's the most automatic buy of any player out there in our humble opinion.
Yeah.
Take that for what it's worth.
I was the most skeptical of his being able to perform this season at an elite level, and he's proven me wrong.
Why not?
So
no. Yeah. And we wish, trust me, that when he had Tommy John surgery back in, like, what was it, 2019?
19. Yeah.
Man. People talk about time machines to go back and buy Bowman draft boxes in 2009. I think you go back to 2019 and you take out a mortgage on your house and you buy all the Ohtani you get your hands on and just wait 3 years.
Yeah, he was an interesting case because it was kind of soon after I got back into the hobby in 2017 that we heard rumblings about this guy, Ohtani. He had his 2018 mega box, was in the Japanese uniform, was the first American issued card, but it was already expensive. It was really expensive then. But like Chris said, once he had that Tommy John surgery, a lot of people soured on him and his prices went down, and that would have been the time.
Yeah. He, if you remember when he came up in spring training, he couldn't hit. He was getting taken advantage of in 2018 spring training. Like, he was getting embarrassed, and he had a huge leg kick. And there was a story, I remember MLB Network, they talked about it, how the Angels hitting coach was like, we have to get rid of your leg kick. Like, your timing, it's not going to work. And in like 9 days, Jeff, he changed the mechanics of his swing and just blew up and won Rookie of the Year. Just Absurd.
Chris Forbidden Donut says, do you think he's hurt by having too many rookie cards and variations? Now, this is a very good question because he is in a lot of sets. They knew he would sell cards, and he's in everything that year. He's like the anti-Soto of 2018. So I'd say yes, it hurts him a little bit, but only in those lower end products. Chris.
Yes, I would completely agree. Yeah, a lot of the base cards are just they're gonna be forgotten, but the demand for Ohtani will outpace the demand for everyone else. So if anyone's gonna get away with it, having a ton of cards, it's him. And the high end is the high end, most high end, highest. The highest end stuff is always just going to be, there's going to be enough demand for it. But yeah, like his base tops gallery, that's going to drift away for sure. But like the Bowman Chrome autos, even the Topps Chrome autos, anything with his auto, with that original auto and the RC stamp, it's just, people are always going to want it. And yeah, you're right. He has a ton of variations. So just kind of do your homework and figure out what the pops are and which ones are, worth going after, which ones, may end up meeting demand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red ink, gold, black, 100%. Even like the blue refractors for sure. Stuff like that. Anything numbered at a 2018 Topps is incredible. The paper stuff, the parallels are the best. The blacks, the Independence Day, even Mother's Day, Father's Day, stuff like that Jeff and I normally aren't interested in for 2018 and for Ohtani. Absolutely.
Yeah. Those are definitely the top forbidden, but I would say, yeah, you can go a little further down the scale. You get numbered stuff in those main sets, the Bowman Chrome. Topps
and Miguel Garcia points out that, even his Topps Finest card has a really nice, there aren't like a ton of hitting images for Ohtani for whatever reason. Topps messed that up. The update, the US won an update that had to be a hitting image because his number 700 is pitching. So why'd they use another pitching image? I don't know.
They use it on the rookie debut, but that's like Judge too. They use the fielding image for him, right? So
yeah, the fan's crotch image. But yeah, Miguel Garcia is right. The leg kick, the Topps Finest card is beautiful. That's one of his best rookies. That and the Bowman Chrome are like the two best hitting images on his rookies, on his base rookies. And the Finest, second tier set. So it's fairly affordable and it looks great. Really nice looking card. I wouldn't throw thousands of dollars at a parallel though.
No,
but
agreed. Forbidden, the Goodwin Champions. Isn't that the one where he's also got like some of it in kanji, some of his autos in kanji? Is that Goodwin?
Is that the unlicensed one, Jeff? That you liked in our spitballing thing?
I think so. I think because that's an Upper Deck product, I believe. But any auto you can get with the kanji auto would be great.
Yeah, but there are not very many. Hold on. Okay. Sticking with cards here, Steve Schwartz with a question about Verlander. Jeff, what do you think about Verlander?
Well, we've talked ad nauseum about pitching. If you didn't watch the Spitballing episode that dropped today, we talked specifically about Paul Skeens and his market because it's crazy. Thinking about what sort of Verlander you can get for the price of a Paul Skeens card is pretty I don't know, unnerving, I guess you might say.
Yeah,
it just goes to show that pitchers, you can call it underappreciated, unappreciated, but just their value is not really there. So if you like them and have a PC, great. He's going to be one of the best all time of the modern era. He's going to easily cruise into the Hall of Fame. But long term, is he going to see a huge spike in prices? I don't think so.
He does have some. And Verlander is interesting because his early stuff is right in that range where Topps changed all the rules.
Yes,
where they went from like rookie cards to Bowman firsts. So he has like a 2005 Topps draft pick is like his rookie card, and then in 2006 he's got like one that says rookie card. So it's a little bit weird. Make sure you're buying the right Verlander. But he's got some really low numbered, fun early cards, and there aren't a lot of them. And he's also in tons of image variations and opening day and Topps. So I think his rare stuff is going to hold up because when it's all said and done, they're going to look back at his numbers. And yeah, his personal photos that are online probably help the profile a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think his stuff will hold value because he is incredible. He has lasted a long time, multiple rings, MVP, Cy Young. He's a badass, and he's going to stroll into the Hall of Fame. And yeah, he probably is a little bit disrespected in the hobby right now.
So it depends what your goals are. Yeah, I think Chris is right. He's probably a good holder of value, a good value holder, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Is there going to be an explosion of value? I mean, unless, I don't know, if the Houston Astros win the World Series again and he does something incredible, maybe. But I don't know. When he gets in the Hall of Fame, I think when those numbers start to come up, when we look at his career numbers and compare him to every active pitcher out there, Jeff, and you realize that no one is going to come.
I mean,
close.
it might be one of those situations like we've seen with guys like Pujols and Cabrera. The further they get away from the end of their career and the more you look at their numbers in context, the more you really appreciate his good looks and his abilities. So I maybe that's when you'd get a bump after his career is over, as he's heading toward the Hall of Fame, and we look at his numbers in context.
Yes. All right. There's two other comments in here I wanted to address here. RF asks, what about the Gold Cup cards? Yes. If we're talking about Ohtani here, absolutely. He's got an image variation in 2019 flagship. I think it's called Bat on Shoulder. And based on pop reports, it seems like it might be slightly shorter printed than like the Acuna and the Soto image variation. So I like that card. It's a really cool shot. Any shot where he's got a bat in his hand, I think is going to be special for collectors. But Jeff, it's the Topps Chrome Gold Cup image variation that I think people, that's one I think you got to have. Even if it's just a regular image variation, not a green or a gold parallel, get yourself one of those regular ones. That image is great. Let me pull it up.
Okay. While you're doing that, yes, I wanted to say shout out to SFO Sox fan or Shelly the Turtle. A lot of people on the live. We really appreciate it. Please hit that like and subscribe if you're not already, because that helps us reach more people. So thank you for the shout out, Shelly.
Yeah, we'll just grab this green image because it's nice and clear. Oh, and it's ending tonight, so we can maybe pump this person's auction. It's not ours, just so we're clear.
Yeah, Mello, his 2018 Topps New Era. That's a nice card because it's actual hitting image. I
think his best rookie image, Jeff.
Complete set.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Absolutely. I can pull up one of those too in a sec. So this is the 2019 Topps Chrome, his image variation, or his SP as they call it. There's a green parallel, a gold, an orange, and a red. And there's also just, the regular refractor version. But the two greatest Japanese-born baseball players of all time on a limited Topps Chrome card with this Gold Cup here.
Kind of a passing of the torch.
Yeah. And yes, it's very similar to that 2018 update card. I think it's called Japan's Finest. But this is better.
This is a reveal, Chris.
Okay, what do we got?
Forbidden Donut is a burner account for William. He changed his name so each time his wife wouldn't shoot a smirk when we called him out.
I like it. By the way, I got a text that I missed. Forbidden Donut had a comment that said, please, won't somebody think of the children? I apologize for missing that. That is a great Simpsons quote. I missed it in the comments, so I appreciate you throwing that in there. All right, this is Ohtani's best rookie image. And it's absolutely buried in a worthless product, the complete retail set. It comes with like a little package of 5 paper rookie image variations, and then some of them will have chromes, and then the chromes have like parallels, but because it's in a complete set, no one cares, and it's such a bummer. Look at this card, Jeff.
Yeah, it's great. Through the swing, Mello's reminding me that the New Era is the close-up of his face. I'm not sure which one I was thinking of, but yeah, this is the one Chris has up is one of his best pictures. Can you imagine if this was the flagship image?
If this was the update, if this was US 1 at an update, I mean, the sky is literally the limit for what those parallels would go for. Yep. What a Topps Black of update 1 with this image, it would probably be like a $15,000 card. Like it would be insane. And that set would then have this with a Soto and Acuna, and I'm getting sweaty hands just thinking about it, Jeff.
It's not a foil board Forbidden Donut. I think it's just a refractor, right, Chris?
Just a refractor, yeah. The foil board is just the regular image out of the complete set. This is a separate thing.
Mookie Chilson saying popping out to left. He's probably driving one about 450 feet to left, like he's been doing the past week or so, especially in Milwaukee.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, he does have. I mean, it's just incredible oppo power. I will say his glutes look a little flat from this angle, so if there's a slight negative to the card, maybe it's that.
Well, that was a little earlier in his career before he got that American food and training workout regimen in.
That's true. I don't know if they're big on squats in Japan. I'm not sure.
Well, God is great. You can let us know.
Yes, if you're in here, please let us know. Uh-oh. Wait, what did hold on. Looks like it should be an SSB. Oh, the Ohtani gets hot.
Elegant Elliot has a comment here. Chris
So-
seems to comment on glutes at least once an episode.
I think that's all in your head, Elegant Elliot. I think you're sort of just projecting that on me. I don't think there's any truth to that at all.
No.
I hardly ever say the word glutes, I think.
No. And it's in our theme song now. So maybe that's what he's hearing.
That it is. But yeah, the Ohtani gets hot card is pretty popular, actually.
It is. Yeah.
Because there's like fire in the background. It's him and Trout. That is a really, really cool card.
Thick Boy. We talked a little bit about Chourio. We talked about his SSP and how it's trending up, and probably because of how he's just been mashing at the plate. He is, as you said, he's just 20 and figuring it out. Those first couple months were him figuring it out. And in retrospect, I appreciate the way the Brewers handled him. They gave him some days off, let him sit down a little bit when he was struggling, and now it seemed to paying off.
Yeah, they didn't send him down, so kudos to them for keeping him up with the big.
And I didn't get to a game. I appreciate that, Thick Boy, but the Brewers were out of town my entire trip home, and now they've got like 16 home games in the next 3 weeks. Sadly.
Okay. Well, hold on. I was going to say, I would like to talk about Bowman Chrome for a few minutes.
Okay, yeah, we better get to it then.
Hold on. Did it come in? Sorry, give me a sec. Okay. So Bowman Chrome releases pretty soon. And this is obviously one of like the biggest releases of the year. I want to say it's like in the next week or so, but I don't see a date on what I'm looking at.
I can't remember when it's coming out, but I know they had the pre-sale this week.
Yes. So there's a couple things about Bowman Chrome this year that are extremely exciting. The first is, and it's actually not prospect related, we're getting Paul Skeens rookie cards, Jeff. Actually, rookie cards from a set that matters.
That's the biggest thing to me.
Yeah.
That's the biggest news, and I think that's the biggest driver of sales, or will be the biggest driver of sales for this.
Yes, the negative are there's no Paul Skeens autos on the checklist. So unless they're surprising us with a late entry, we are not going to get a Bowman Chrome rookie auto for Paul Skeens, which is a real bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Yeah,
and they don't do any mystery, do they?
I don't see any mysteries on the checklist. There's mystery autos and finest. So if you really want to roll the dice, there's people on eBay already, they're gambling pretty hard that mystery auto A in finest is Skeens. Those are going for a lot of money. So if you want to roll those dice, roll away.
And then you get it back and it's like Chris Davis in a Orioles uniform.
Yeah, like it makes sense, but there's no guarantees. So you are buying a lottery ticket right there.
Shelly says September 11th release date, so we've got a while yet.
We do have a little bit of time, so maybe they will change some stuff. But there are Paul Skeens does have an image variation in here. So there's no image variation auto, but he does have an image variation. And
does the image variation have parallels, or is it just the standard Bowman Chrome?
Just the standard. They're 1 in 292 hobby packs. So that's like less than one a case. I mean, that's probably, I'm trying to do quick math here. I think you get like 12 packs in a box. Jeez, 15 bucks. Yeah, that's probably like one in every other case, something like that. And there are 4, 8, 12 guys on that checklist. And it's a really good checklist. Holiday, Skeens, Ellie, Pete Crow Armstrong, Caminero, Evan Carter, Chourio, Langford, Yamamoto, and Dominguez are your image variation rookies. No Jackson Merrill, unfortunately.
Professor says 1 every 2 cases.
There you go.
Yeah. And the price seemed pretty high, so I got the pre-order notification. I did not order any.
What was it, Jeff?
I can't remember now.
All right. Well, while you're looking, can you look that up real quick?
Yeah.
I will also tell you guys that I am personally excited for this release of Bowman Chrome. I'm not a big prospect chaser, but the Braves shelled out a shit ton of money last year on a teenage shortstop whose last name is Perdomo. And he has autos in this product. His first Bowman Chrome will be in this. He's probably going to be one of the most, like, out of the chute, one of the most in demand. It's Jose Perdomo. So I'm excited to see that card. Possibly take a flyer on one, but I don't know what the prices are going to be. They're probably going to be really stupid, in which case I will absolutely not. So I think he is probably one of the top 2 or 3 prospects to look for. The biggest one, to my understanding, I tried to do a little research on here to give you guys some accurate info. A gentleman by the name of Leo DeVries from the San Diego Padres is, from what I gather, the number 1 prospect in this product. He's like a 17-year-old Dominican for the Padres. So they have him and Salas.
He's the number 1 international prospect, and he was born in 2006.
Oh, God, Jeff.
Really makes me feel old. $270 a box.
$270. What are the specs on those
when
boxes?
You say you're really excited about this product, you don't mean that you're going to buy it to open it. You're just going to watch other people open it and maybe.
Sure as hell, I'm not opening I will not open a single pack of this, barring a surprise, unexpected birthday gift. I will not be touching a single pack of this, but I will be looking for a Jose Perdomo card. Just because, I feel like I should support the Braves, and that's not supporting him at all. The more that I think about it, that's just supporting fanatics. But yeah, I will look for that. But yeah, I'm not $270 a box. I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, we know it's going to be outrageous.
Yeah, that's you get 1 chrome autograph. Okay, so it's two chrome per master box. They're doing mini boxes again. So 6 packs per mini. So what are you getting? 60 cards total in a box for $270.
You're scratching a ticket and hoping that you get an auto of someone that turns out to be good. I didn't even look at the auto, the rainbow parallel. I'll pull that up in a second. I see a lot of people worried about Paul Skeens as an investment, and yeah, we should be worried about Paul Skeens as an investment. Pitchers are really dicey, but this guy is exciting and he's fun. And I'm not going to lie, I am excited to see some of these cards. I really want to see what his gold mirror is going to look like in update. I really want to see what his base card is going to look like, because Jeff was talking about this. We did an episode of Spitball on Cards and we talked about him. And his flagship black, if they can get him in some kind of a lot of pirate yellow with that flagship black design, is going to look incredible.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. And we've also talked about it. Just his lack of overall rookie cards, since he's just going to be in these late season releases, going to put more importance on those. Yeah,
especially. And I think Jeff and I, if there is a card that we decide to splurge on, it's going to be like, well, we might buy a red ink. Like if one of those slips through or it becomes available where it seems like it isn't insane. But I will say that because of what happened with Strider and Cole, we're probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, if they put him in a City Connect jersey, ATL Jeff Black with the black border, would look really good.
That would look amazing.
Yeah.
I know we all have
the mustache as well.
Yes, we all have an unspoken hope for his Golden Mirror SSP, but I don't think we're going to get what we want. That's not going to happen. But he's had some incredible moments already, like a pitch from that 7-inning no-hitter that he threw, he was pulled from. Any pitch from there would be cool. I think if it was a nice horizontal, like wide shot of him throwing out the first pitch of the All-Star game, Jeff, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
I would love that card.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to buy it when he's getting Tommy John surgery in 18 months.
Yeah, then when it comes down, Carterholic makes a good point. For $70 cheaper, you can buy a 2022 Top Stadium Club hobby box.
Easy choice.
More cards to rip, more fun.
You're still going to cry at the end of it.
Yes, you're going to cry.
But you're going to see some cool images.
Yeah.
Like Babe Ruth driving a car, or Lou Gehrig playing the saxophone. I mean,
all right, Chris, what do you think are the odds of this? What Professor's asking. I'm hoping Skeens Chrome Update Auto is on card.
Okay. Thank you for bringing this up, Professor Dugout, because I did want to mention this. Normally, as we know, Topps Chrome rookie autos are all stickers, and it wrecks the product. But last year, a couple things were different. Obviously, the MLB debut patches, our biggest concern, and legitimately, Jeff, we were worried they were just going to throw stickers on those cards, but they knew not to do that. So those were on card.
Yeah.
And also the guys in update that didn't have autos in regular Topps Chrome. So like Yuri Perez and Bobby Miller were the first 2 that I could think of. Those were on card in update. So I'm guessing Skeens is going to be on card. If there's any duplicating, like any big rookies like Merrill or Holiday, if they have autos in update, those will probably be stickers. But last year, if you guys take a look, like I know Yuri Perez and Bobby Miller, they were all on card. So it seemed like the new rookies.
There is very good hope.
There is hope, because Professor's Dugout, that would immediately, if you do want to, God help us, invest in a Skeens card, and you don't want that Bowman draft, then Chrome Update, if it's a sticker, it's just off the table. Like it's not even a part of the conversation.
Yeah. Thick Boy mentions this. Sad to mention, but yeah, Jose Fernandez is a good comp.
Yep.
On our spitballing episode. We talked a lot about Strasburg as a comp, what he's doing as a rookie, but Jose Fernandez was right there as well. So
that's a great comp. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary, Jeff. Let's take a second here and think about other comps for Paul Skeens. Are any of them legitimately like good?
Mark Pryor?
Mark Pryor? No. Kerry Wood? No. Strasburg? No. Jose Fernandez? No. I mean, we can go further back. Dwight Gooden?
He's taller. Maybe they'll do something. I don't know.
Yeah, he is taller. Well, Strasburg's pretty big too. And he's got like that big build that makes you think his body can handle it. Like Verlander's a big guy too, but he's had Tommy John surgery and various ailments, but he's also thrown like a million innings.
And we thought guys like, Mark Pryor was built like a perfect pitcher. Same with Strider, and look what happened. So
that was the word that got thrown around a lot. Like Pryor's mechanics were perfect. So like uninjurable, perfect mechanics. Well, Dusty Baker said, hold my beer. I bet if I make him throw 160 pitches every night. Anyway, sorry.
So I don't know. So yeah, I mean, a lot to be concerned about, rightfully.
Hold on, sorry. I'm a little late on comments, but this was what made me laugh. I'm not saying I don't want it. It'd be a fun.
I already posted that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry.
I think she got the hint.
I'm behind.
This is cool. While you're catching up, Professor said Ryan Sandberg just announced he's cancer-free. So again, thank you for CT scans doing something that they're meant to do.
Yeah, M. Newbert here, Newbies Cards, I think on Instagram, if I remember correctly, said that he has heard or he believes that the on-card Chrome autos from last year were left over from Topps Chrome. I don't know about that because those guys weren't in the Topps Chrome product, and I feel like the numbering would be different as well. So I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Not 100% sure about that. Jorge's cards, I still love Jose Fernandez too. I did have him on my fantasy team, so I don't want to say I'm responsible for what happened, but we can't overlook the coincidence there. But he does have one of the greatest, or two of the best SSPs of all time. Him with the Dinosaur and him with the Fanatic are both great.
Battery Strider had a bone spur eroding his tendon, not really a Tommy John misuse thing. Right. But there's so many things that can go wrong. Shoulders, elbows, musculature, everything.
Yes.
Bone spurs. So there's a lot of mechanics that go into getting these guys these crazy spin rates and 100 miles an hour.
But yes, Battery, when I saw that story, I was so relieved that the UCL, it was intact and there was just a bone spur in there. It was a huge sigh of relief. But when
it just means that he's gonna have to get his real Tommy John in another couple years. He's
already had one. Give him a few years, Jeff.
It said 7 years, so he's a couple years left on it.
All right. Well, this is oh boy. Well, we may have to post it again, Jeff, but don't worry about it. It's okay. What is Mellow Card saying? I think we're all thinking about this, but it would legitimately cost money.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the Heritage Dual Auto with the pair.
Yeah, then it would just be awkward if they break up, when they break up.
True. Good point.
Show the Turtle that makes an excellent question. We should just really sit down and take a look.
Did you see Professor's response to that? It would be a 10-hour episode.
Yeah, and there'd be a lot of crying and sobbing. So I'm in a fantasy. Jeff runs a Roto League with, I think he only has like 4 IL spots, and I petitioned him to go up to 8 this year, and he just wouldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
So that should tell you something.
You got to make some moves. Doc says Strider's got a lot of chance to.
I was just touching that. Yeah. That's why. Nolan Ryan never had Tommy John surgery. Well, maybe that's just Did you guys all watch that Nolan Ryan documentary? I think it's on Netflix. It is awesome.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. They talk to like his family and his granddaughters all making fun of him for those Advil commercials he used to do. He's like, I'm Nolan Ryan.
He needed right. He was superhuman.
Yes.
Probably pitched through a lot of injuries that people miss many months for right now.
Yeah, and I bet it just healed itself. Like he's probably like I bet, if there is a Wolverine out there in the real world, it's Nolan Ryan. Like he's got some kind of healing factor.
Well, did you see that clip? I don't even know if it was from this season or last, but however old he is now, he went and threw out a first pitch and just had heat on it. I mean, you almost felt bad for the catcher.
Yes.
Catching a first pitch, just ooh.
Yeah, Forbidden Donut. That's what it's called. Finding Nolan. If you like baseball and you're in here, you probably do. Please watch it over the weekend. It's really great. There's a lot of amazing little anecdotes in there.
James, this, probably didn't take steroids. And pitcher, it's not just the steroids that they take. It's some might, but it's the training regimens they're on. They're really trying to get those spin rates up. It's almost like overtraining is an issue with current pitchers.
Yeah, and we're hearing a lot of people have said, I have no idea, but it would make sense that the pitch clock has something to do with it. Like the fact that the muscles, the tendons can't rest, that extra, like in some cases. But
it was happening before that. It was pretty.
Very true. Very true. But yeah, I'm just curious, like getting back to Bowman Chrome, whatever you guys are interested in or excited about for this set, if anyone's plans on ripping it, I would love to, I'd love to know what you're open to pull. Okay, so we briefly talked about those image variations. One of my favorite things in Bowman Chrome, Jeff, are the rookie image variation autos. Let me find that, because there aren't that many rookie autos in the product to begin with. I think there's about 20. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 guys have image variation autos. So those are all going to be numbered to 25. And ideally, those will be images that don't exist anywhere else. And hopefully they're good. Fingers crossed.
Are there retrofractors in Bowman Chrome?
Are there what?
Retrofractors?
I don't see any. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's 2.
Johnny Bench again?
No, hold on. Lou Gehrig was one of them.
Shout out to the battery. George Brett was the first documented MLB player on roids. Yes. Chris often talks about the story of George Brett and his poor hemorrhoids.
The poor guy. I mean, can you imagine? You finally get to the World Series.
Mad City Brew, I was at this game as well. Yeah, he won his 300th game in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Okay, so there are 2 retrofractors, Jeff. Lou Gehrig and Sandy Koufax.
Okay. Sandy Autos?
Sandy Autos. And I will say that, like, this is a thing that Topps is doing lately that bums me out a little bit. I'm not a fan of these retrofractors, but if you like them, if you like the idea of getting a Lou Gehrig card in Bowman Chrome, then that's cool. Then I'm happy you're happy. But Sandy Koufax must have signed a deal with Fanatics recently, because God damn it, Jeff, he has autos in every single set now. Every single set.
They sure know how to ruin a good thing. Yeah.
He's flagship autos, Topps Chrome legend, Topps finest moments, and now he's got a retrofractor auto in Bowman Chrome. I mean, just stop.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It is. Yeah. I just wish that they would spread them out a little bit.
Right? I mean, it's cool. Sandy Koufax autos are amazing, and his Topps Chrome Legends autos look really cool. I know Mama's Breaks pulled one on Fanatics Live. We've seen there's a bunch on Instagram. They look incredible, but they're just, now here come the other ones. They just get watered down, and it's such a bummer.
Yeah, the watering down is pretty.
I would love one of those cards, but I'll wait a few years and see how many autos he signs in the next couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a George Brett RF talking about more good Brett stuff. There's a George Brett documentary on the MLB Network. That's pretty great. It's like an hour, and it just talks about trying to get the Royals to the World Series and like how incredibly good he was. But it does mention the pants crapping story.
Yeah, he had some interesting stories as a player for sure.
Yeah. He just seems like a fun, kind of an asshole, but you have to be to be that good, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just like out partying and then just up playing baseball.
Yeah, that seemed to happen a lot then. Well, it's getting kind of late. Anything else you want to hit before we let people off to the rest of their Thursday nights?
Well, come on,
and
Jeff,
you do your chicken chunks?
We're actually, this is not interesting, but factual. We're actually doing ribs tonight. No chicken chunks tonight.
Ribs on the grill?
Ribs in the oven. I didn't have time to grill because we're doing this
variety. Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, I was at Costco. They were out of chunks this week, but they had like a deal on these ribs, so we're going with ribs.
I wonder if they're out of chunks because so many Blabbin viewers have been buying up the chunks at Costco. There's another potential.
I hope so. All right.
opportunity.
So real quick then, before we go and my ribs are ready, we're going to talk about this. Oh, what's that? Hold on. We're going to talk about a couple eBay auctions.
All right.
All right. And then we're going to call it a day because it is getting late.
Yeah, Cardaholic Christian Yelich is out for the season.
Yeah.
We talked about that early on, and I just got an auto of his. Yeah. Pumping and dumping chunks. Yeah, you might see him on the black market for double the price. They know Chris is looking for him.
I mean, how is Costco out of anything? They have so much of everything.
Well, you're just making it popular. All right, there. Now that's a card.
This is a card. This is yeah. To quote A Christmas Story, this is a card. So a couple of these have sold in the last about a week to 2 weeks. These Gatorade baths. The pop on them is about 75 to 80. Last I looked. This is a 12-month high for this card. $3,800 and rising. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this card?
I love it. I have it. I have it in a PSA 9, and I traded for it. And the value I traded for it was higher than where it currently is now. It was at the peak of the market, but my only solace is whatever I traded was also peak of the market. So
right.
It's not worth that much. I would love to have it in a 10, but I don't know.
It's a really cool image. Like, it's so crisp when you see this card in person, like the water hitting him. Like, it's a fantastic shot. And if I were this reporter on the right here, and you'd never hear the end of it. You would never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
But this is really cool. And someone there's Jeff's PSA 9.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat was talking about, do we think Ohtani has so many variations that it could hurt his market? Well, Soto does not have a lot of variations. He's got hands on hips, which is a little bit more common. And then he's got this Gatorade bath. This is phenomenal. I think if you're looking for a flagship Soto, this is probably the way to go because the black is always going to be more expensive, but this card is special. This card is great. Really, really like it.
Filmington, welcome to the chat. To grab one of these at some point after selling mine in 2020-ish. Yeah, I love it. Batteries saying it's an example of a card that should be collected 9 rather than 10. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know what the total graded at PSA is. I love my 9, but man, something about it, about a 10.
It feels like a special card. I think the image is so cool that this is probably a card that, like, if a 7 showed up, a lot of people turn their noses at it, and you just go buy it and get a really good deal on it because you want to have one. I mean, I don't have this card yet. I really, really want one, but I think I may have waited too long. I don't know.
Forbidden Donut, two questions before you leave this one.
Oh, hit us up.
This card or his Independence Day, if you could find it, his 2018 Independence Day.
I think you got to go Independence Day, Jeff.
Yeah, that is such a great use of the flag in 2018.
Yeah.
I can't fault you for either, but I'd have to lean Independence Day. And those are extremely condition sensitive. If you can get a high-ish grade in that too, that's pretty crazy.
They are. And I would also just say, if you're looking at those two as options, whatever one you think you're getting, whatever one you get for cheaper, you buy.
True.
Like, you can kind of like put them up against each other. They're both incredible cards.
Dan Kolko from the Masson crew is the moist reporter from Los Bravos. Thanks for the research. Much appreciated.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
I wanted to get to this question, which 308 Sniper had put up before.
Okay.
Soto or Judge long-term. This is a hard one to answer. For me, it's Soto, but I don't know if that's just because that's how I've always felt. I mean, if we knew that Judge could play at this level and stay healthy for the next 5 or 6 years, then I might change my mind. But things that Soto's done by age 25, when basically Judge was just getting started, make me appreciate Soto more.
There is, I mean, we could do a whole show just talking about, like, straight numbers don't equate to collectability and card value. If they did, Eddie Murray's cards would be worth a hell of a lot more than they are.
Yeah.
Soto will undoubtedly end his career with better numbers than Aaron Judge, but the hype, the excitement around Judge breaking that home run record, Yankee fans right now, the percentage of Yankee fans that would not offer sexual favors to Aaron Judge after 2 beers is like, it's less than 5%. I guarantee it. He is so popular and so beloved that I don't know at the end of the day, Jeff, who's going to be more collectible when it's all said and done. He could Judge could tear his ACL next season and his Achilles and his career's over. People are still going to want his cards.
He's definitely got that floor built in.
Yes.
Judge has got that floor built in by all that he's done. And I think the collectability question is going to go, the answer to that question will be formed if he does decide to stay with the Yankees, because I feel like if he does stay with the Yankees long term, that's really going to enhance his overall collectability.
That honestly, that's a huge part of it too. That is a really, really huge part of it too. If Soto signs with the Mets, then I would probably answer Judge to this question. I mean, look at it this way. Ted Williams has arguably better numbers, better hitter than Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
But Mickey Mantle cards are going to outsell Ted Williams.
Yep, for sure. And Mike D is very angry about Soto's age, that he's not 25, which I don't know. Hard to say. I mean, similar things were said about Pujols, so hard to really know. But the way, one thing I do have to say is the way Soto's game is built, he's just kind of entering his prime as a hitter, and his game isn't focused on speed or base running or defense. So I feel like even if he's not 25, if he is a couple years older, I still think he's got a really good decade in front of him.
Yeah, he's the kind of, you know what? I'm just going to say this, Jeff, because why not? If there's a great player in baseball that I feel confident isn't going to get injured, it's this guy. He doesn't steal bases. He doesn't go first to third. He sits in a corner outfield spot. He's probably going to long-term be left field at Yankees. Actually, left field in Yankee Stadium. He isn't like Acuna. All right. He's not doing a ton of lateral movement. He should be very healthy for the duration of his career, barring catastrophe, barring an unforeseen, unpredictable catastrophe. He's going to end up, I mean, we can just sit here and come up with jaw-dropping numbers for him to finish with. But that does not necessarily mean that his cards will be worth more, especially if he does that. Again, I don't want to shit all over the Mets, but if he does that in a Mets jersey, it's different. It just is different. And yeah, Elegant Elliott, you're right. We can see Soto being productive well into his late 30s with his particular skill set.
Etsupo Sox fan does make a good point. Can't we trace Soto's age a bit better, say, than Pujols? Pujols, if you've seen that picture of him in high school going around, he looks like he's 30 in high school.
Yes.
But yes, his Bowman Chrome first, Soto does look young. He does
look young. And I do think it's more difficult than ever now to fake that, to get away with that than it was back when, again, don't forget, Pujols came over here before, let's just say before travel to the U.S. tightened.
Yeah.
Might be the best way to describe that. But Soto is primed for an incredible career. But we can't see the future. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Judge hits 50, if Judge gets to 60 again, I don't know. I don't know. What does Soto have to do? How many years of 40 home runs can equal 2 years of 60 for the Yankees?
I mean, Judge is building that collectability in for sure. And I think somebody compared him to Mattingly. Mattingly's still well respected and collected. And even though he's didn't have a long career, the things Judge has done, even if he gets hurt tomorrow, like you said, that'll endear him to a full generation or several generations probably of Yankees fans. So his collectability is going to be there. I don't know, when we get to talking about that, does Soto have to, what kind of hardware does he have to win? Does he have to lead teams to multiple championships? That may be where he's able to catch up to Judge in that collectability area.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane to think Judge is 7 years older than Soto, and he's got how many more home runs? 90?
100-ish.
So, I mean, we could be looking at 600 plus home runs right here, but there's no guarantee of anything.
No, and I think, yeah.
Yes, Forbidden Donut is right. That's what his value in the hobby this fall is enormous. And if he signs an extension sometime between now and then, you're going to see his cards take a huge jump.
Yeah, and we've in talking about this before on Spitballing, and even here, we've heard from a lot of Yankees fans that they are kind of in a holding pattern because they love him in pinstripes, but they don't want to make him a big part of their collection if he's going to be gone after this year. So I get it.
Yeah. And this is Moe with a great question. Who's going to have more career homers? Soto, who is 25 with 194, or Ohtani, who's 30 or 29, I'm sorry, with 208. The smart money, you'd have to look at those numbers and bet Soto. You'd have to bet Soto.
Yes, I would bet so, especially seeing what he did last year and this year, because he hasn't even really hit his traditional hitting prime, and to show that power already, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he's got 50 home run seasons in him.
No, especially in Yankees, if he stays in Yankee Stadium and he starts pulling the ball more. But yeah, I mean, it's just
So Thick Boy, I mean, I feel like we're all in sync here with our thoughts. But so the question is then, Chris, do you all right, hold on, I gotta put this up. Forbidden Donut says he would be A-Rod minus J-Lo in a Minotaur painting.
Oof.
If you think that he's going to sign with the Yankees, is this a good buying time, or is it the last buying time?
Yes.
So it's like how much would you put into buying his cards now? How certain are you? I guess that's what it comes down to. That's
very well said, Jeff. Yeah, if you 100%, if in your mind he's going to be a Yankee for the next 15 years, invest right now. But if you think there's a decent chance that Steve Cohen outbids everyone and he follows the money, then it maybe sell if they get to the playoffs.
James makes a great point. Ohtani is Ruth, so give me Ohtani. Yes, absolutely. Chris and I both agree that he's probably the best and safest place to put your money. But some of his best cards are already priced so high above where Soto's are that if you want a similar caliber of superstar card, Soto's are much cheaper and much more accessible to some people.
Yes. My mother is 82 years old, and I talked to her on the phone 2 days ago. She told me the same story twice in 7 minutes, but she got Shohei Ohtani's name right. So, guys, we're talking about the generation defying talent. And since we're talking about collectability and career stats, this also sold.
Yes, that sold.
Just an absolutely beautiful Acuna card. One of the best. One of his best images. Like, just a fantastic rookie. But it sold at auction, for $29.50. That's a lot less. That's $1,000 less than the Soto.
Yeah. Well, and after his season last year and the hype he got and thinking he could repeat it, I mean, this had the potential to be an $8,000 card at the end of 2024.
It did. It'll be the interesting long-term comparison will be Soto and Acuna, because Acuna's got the 40-80 season, or I'm sorry, 40-70 season is incredible. And even though Soto could pass it in WAR, that season is special. It's special for collectors. It's special for baseball fans. So it'll be interesting because that's going to be like the peak, but Soto's going to have the greater career in terms of like long-term numbers. But I think Acuna's already had a season that Soto can never get to. Yeah. So we'll see what happens value-wise with these two guys going forward. We'll also have to see what Acuna becomes when he comes back.
Yes, and as we've talked about repeatedly, there seems to be more of a focus on peak rather than longevity. Yeah. But if you could put a peak together like Soto's doing right now, a 12-year peak of elite talent, how much could that overcome, say, somebody who does what Judge has done or what Acuna's done?
Our good friend Forbidden Donut says Ruth won World Series. Until Ohtani wins, he's chasing him. And yeah, there's something to that. I think Ohtani does need a ring for his full legacy, and he's in a great spot to get one. But does Ohtani need to end a World Series by getting caught stealing for the last out of the ninth inning of Game 7, Jeff? Does he need to do that like Ruth did? Or maybe just we win one?
I don't know.
I don't know either. but it's a great question to leave our viewers on.
But also, I mean, in Ohtani's defense, there's a lot more teams now than there were when Ruth was playing and winning World Series.
Yes.
One quick comment I wanted to get to. Mike D said Soto's great, but I would buy Jordan over Soto. Okay, a lot of comments here, and you're talking to two huge Jordan fans, but injury issues with Jordan and just collectability would make me say no way to this. But granted, Jordan's cards are really cheap, so you could probably get nice cards for cheap, but I don't know how much they're going to hold up.
Yeah, I love me some Jordan Alvarez, but I have a hard time. I can't agree with that. I just can't. Now, yeah, Alvarez, he's got one. They each have one World Series ring. I think Alvarez has an ALCS MVP, and he's got a pretty. They both have often repeated postseason moments at the plate, which is great for their collectability and their legacies. But man, I got to go Soto over Jordan,
and not just because of what Forbidden Donut says. Yeah. At least his calves. He doesn't spend time on those calves, which gives me some cause for concern.
SFO Sox fan, this is a very important question. And no, I haven't found one. Buddy, if you see one, could you please send me a link? Because I may as well just go all in at this point.
Still gonna pair them up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I might do to my wife is what my mom used to do to me. And boy, out of context, that sounds terrible. But my mom was a big hoarder and a collector, and she would start side collections outside of her main collection and then attribute them to other people.
Yes. Like I'm collecting this for so-and-so or
exactly. She started collecting Coca-Cola memorabilia, and she said it was for me.
Great. Congrats.
Yeah. I never purchased a single item of Coca-Cola memorabilia, but damned if there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff in one bedroom.
Zane Barrier makes a good point. No one buys Kyle Tucker. That gets to the collectability question. So it's not just like Chris said, it's not just straight numbers or talent. There's a collectability question, and the hobby is a fickle beast. And Chris and I often tried to figure out things like Kyle Tucker or Gavin Lux, and it didn't really work out very well. So now we're going back to the meat and potatoes, I'd say. Yeah.
There's this idea that people are, you always see these videos where all these guys so underrated. Look at his numbers. He's so undervalued. He's so undervalued. But there's no guarantee that ever corrects itself.
No.
When in doubt, I mean, just buy the Ohtani card. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's the safer.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Scotty B.
Yeah. And has Tatis fallen into Jazz Chisholm? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
But now Jazz Chisholm's hurt.
Yeah. So maybe that's the comparison then.
He was on a tear. Yeah. Ohtani, if he dominates as a pitcher in a World Series, yes. So I think everybody's going to be waiting for him to come back and pitch, even if he's just a part-time pitcher or a closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think somebody had mentioned that the ribs were probably burned, and they probably are. So...
I'm not cooking them. They're fine.
Oh.
But yes, we should. That's enough. I'm exhausted. And honestly, I have to hit the men's room. There's really just no other way to say it, Jeff.
Yeah. Well,
can you crank our tune and take us out?
Yeah, let me see. I think I learned how to sort of play us out, maybe.
All right, while you're pulling that up, I want to get Forbidden Donut with another. So real quick, is Paul Goldschmidt undervalued, or does no one care about Paul Goldschmidt? That's the question, right?
You're gonna ask Scotty B.
Is someone going to look at Paul Goldschmidt and be like, oh, you know what? This guy's not, I didn't care about him when he was playing, but now I do. I don't know.
And Chris has many times said that he thinks it's because he's follicularly challenged as maybe a part of his collectability issue. Also, they played in the desert for a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. This is a legitimate song performed about Jeff and I, and it brought a tear to my eye the first time.
Yeah, and it's catchy. It might get in your head like a little earworm. Thanks everybody for joining us. Call your parents.
Yes.
Tell them you miss them. Ask them if they have any side collections that they've been saving for you. Some Coca-Cola.
Right.
Anything else you want to say?
No, but Professor's Dugout, like I said before, I have a lot of unreturned messages. I'll throw another one out there. Maybe she could record something for us.
Well, now that you've become a celebrity, maybe you could just tell them you're Justin Verlander making a call and she'll answer the phone.
Wow. Depends how many pictures she wants, Jeff.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. If you didn't see the PSA reveal that we did last night, please check that out. There were some highlights in there and some lowlights, and you get to see us sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't get to talk about too many of the cards we pulled. Maybe we can hit on that next week, as well as the Burbank show.
All right.
All right. Thanks everybody. We'll talk to you
Cheers,
soon.
guys.
Yeah.
On the cards with the best clues. Chris follows the brave